You're live.
Hey everyone, welcome to another 3B Radio actual play role-playing game podcast. This afternoon's program is called Nightfall. Before we begin, just want to thank a few folks who've contributed to today's game. Richard Keene for the background that you see here today. It's all pretty and whatnot. I couldn't do that myself. You can find him on Twitch as talking_nerdy. That's talking_nerdy. Also, Aries Severus, who provided the art for our intro and outro. You can find him on Instagram as War God Art. War God Art on Instagram. And finally, Rizdle, Rizdle, on YouTube for tonight's intro theme, which is called the Epic Superhero Soundtrack, which is copyright-free music. And the reason we're using it is because it's awesome and it's copyright-free. Again, this program's called Nightfall, and we'll be playing a superhero spy-esque game leveraging Green Ronin's Mutants and Masterminds 2nd edition D20. It's a personal favorite of mine. Today's campaign is the extension of a one-off event, and if you didn't catch it last time, you will forever miss out. And we will have recurring episodes, probably like monthly, bi-monthly, whenever the hell we can get this group of people together when we're not doing one of our other shows. And so it's set in a world of my own making and heavily influenced by 90s superheroes, cartoons, and comic books, probably early 2000s as well. We're going to go ahead and do some player intros. We're going to go clockwise, starting off with Waylon Lee, also known as Jackrabbit.
Hey everybody, I'm Julio and I'll be playing Waylon. Waylon is a good old boy down from Florida. He works for the National Park Service, but in his downtime, he is a bit of a somewhat known hacker that goes by the name of Jackrabbit. How do these two professions intersect in any way, shape, or form? They do not. But Waylon is a man of many talents, and although his life might seem disparate, his heart is in the right place, as he really wishes to save the world from the dangers of villainy and global warming.
Yeah, it's a rare combination to see an EPA agent who is also a world-class hacker who also has the skill set to be a field agent, but there we are. It is an awesome combination that makes the very unique character known as Waylon Lee.
Oh yeah.
Below Waylon Lee, we have Synok, also known as Alexander Volkomalat, played by... Go ahead.
So, I'm Rurik. I'm playing Alexander Volkomalat. Alexander is a 3rd or 4th generation spy from a family of spies. Long ago, at the fall of the Russian Empire, the Volkomalat family decided that the best way to continue using the skills that they had used to uphold the Tsar was to go into business for their own, and they have created a reputation amongst the community for being able to get the job done. My cousins have a variety of different skills, from cat burglary to hacking to disguise or forgery. And my father, who runs the family, is the one who assigns us all to our missions. For those of you who missed the last episode, Alexander has recently been tapped by Stars to work with them. He himself is the oldest son, and he is a target retrieval specialist.
Fantastic. And if we will continue our clockwise player intro, bro, go right ahead with Michael Murillo, who is also known as Hello.
Well, I'm Joe. As my brother said, I'm playing Michael Murillo. Codename 11. He is a mannequin from the company known as Lachesis. Basically, they take kids, train them up to be world-class assassins, and take contracts, which could either be good or bad depending on who's paying. My character realized that they were planning on setting back the global warming and everything, like by 6 years or 60 years or whatever, and he was like, we can't have people dying by the thousands because you assholes like money. So he decided to defect his star/eclipse and ratted out his former crew and joined up with these two maniacs.
And since it is more relevant than initially thought, I'm going to briefly recap last time's session.
Real quick, I would like to apologize for the fact that last week's session, that the last session is gone. You would have thought that I made the same mistake with Land of Ice and Snows episode 1, 2, and 3. You would have thought that I would have learned better and not done it again, but here we are.
Shh. It's a spy thing. You have to be a spy to find the first session.
Bad
Oh,
llama.
If you find the first session, we'll give you $100. That being said, the first person to find it would get $100. That being said, originally, the STARS organization, which is essentially my world's version of S.H.I.E.L.D., actually it's Mutants and Masterminds, the book, the gaming systems version of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I used for the purposes of this game, despite the fact I'm not set in the exact same world, learned that one of the childhood assassin mercenaries, one of the mannequins, was willing to defect. It quickly hired on, so they're not permanent members, the characters of Waylon Lee and Alexander Volkomalat as a retrieval team to bring him in. They were in a entirely made-up country, which was south of Ukraine and north of Romania, west of Moldova, which is called Dorutska, and is essentially a country where the mannequin organization, sort of umbrellaed by Lachesis, is known to train its operatives and then before setting them off into the world. They rescued, and by rescued I mean joined, Michael Morello, also known as 11. They then proceeded to flee agents that pursued them before learning that there was an environmental conference taking place in New York where something would happen which would potentially kill roughly 40,000 people and set back essentially environmental sustainability by roughly 60 years. They learned that there was a perpetual motion battery being debuted that was likely going to explode or somehow fail, interrupted mannequin agents that were in the process of enacting this sinister plot, and halted essentially the nefarious doings. They were then told that they would not be recruited into the STARS organization, which is Superhuman Tactics and Response Squad, but would be brought into its shadow branch, which is not actually official, essentially not part of that UN organization, called the Executive Council for Leadership and International and Planetary Security Espionage, also known as ECLIPSE, because when you have an organization called STARS, every acronym is somehow a celestial body. We begin today's session, essentially where we left off is our three heroes returned from their journey. They were briefly debriefed and were told that a lot of research and analysis has to take place between their last mission before there's any sort of going forward period of determining why the hell it is that Lachesis wanted to disrupt environmental sustainability and what the next action point would be. So the game essentially left off I would say, around March. What was that? Oh, I see. Rolling. You're fine. Essentially left off roughly end of March 2037. And again, this is a futuristic time setting. We have like superheroes fighting aliens in space and things. It's really weird. And there's nanomachine technology and that type of stuff. So our game will take place now, which will be March 29th, 2037, a few days after you folks just finished your mission in New York. 11, since you were recently brought in from the folds from being a sort of child soldier, you're currently staying in New Jersey, just across the Hudson River from a UN STARS headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Julio, you're from Florida. You've been asked to stay in New York as opposed to heading home for the continuation of this case. Essentially, the EPA agent who was brought in specifically for the purpose of assisting with the environmental terrorism, you're asked to be kept on given your unique skill sets. They have offered you a hotel, given that given that this case might take a while, they can also offer you an apartment a temporary apartment in the same building in which Michael Murillo is staying. So what would you prefer to do?
Probably get the apartment, considering that this looks like it's going to be for the long haul.
Awesome. In which case, they also put you in that apartment in a little area called Union City across the Lincoln Tunnel from Manhattan proper.
Nice. Is it like 10 square feet and has more roaches than walls?
It is 500 square feet. It's essentially a building that is partially owned, like it's a co-op building. It's partially owned secretly by the Eclipse organization, so they own a few floors. So they have like just diplomats that might be staying in the area, agents that might be staying in the area. It's a luxury building in like a middle-class neighborhood, so it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Better
But
than
it's
expected.
close to Manhattan, and it's not well known, and so it's actually perfect for bringing people in and out of the city quickly. Diplomats tend to stay actually in a different building owned by these folks in Brooklyn, but they might have agents or a few folks staying here, and a lot of times the apartments are just empty because they don't need them.
Very
actually,
nice.
the building is called the Lenox, if you want to write that down and add it to your notes. Sinok, or Alexander, they have also offered you, because it looks like you'll be staying on for a little bit, again, for viewers who are new to this program, the Volkomalat family, the sort of spy conglomerate family, are interested specifically in Laxus's organization and dealings because of the fact that they are interfering in their own familial investments. So you have a little bit of a spy off happening there. So, Alexander, assuming that you're going to be potentially sticking around for the long haul, you did have a luxury hotel close to Grand Central, or sort of uptown east in Manhattan. You have also been offered to stay in that apartment building with the rest of your team, which might be simpler but less luxurious. They are, however, able to offer you, because you're bougie, like a penthouse kind of a sweet thing.
I'll take the penthouse in the building. What was the name of the building?
The Lenox, Lenox.
I'm writing shit down so we don't miss it again.
Our game is going to start on March 29th, 2037, which is a Sunday, if anyone wants to check their calendar. And you have been informed that you are going to debrief relatively early in the morning the next day back at the STARS HQ, which is Lower West Side Manhattan. Is there anything that you folks want to do before now and then?
Probably not.
So,
Well, not for me anyway.
what I'm gonna do, you can totally hand wave. I'm just like contacting the family, letting them know where I am, speaking with my dad, speaking with my sister, letting the family know how things are going. But nothing too specific.
Sure.
What time is the actual meeting? I'm sorry.
I said early in the morning. I didn't give you a hard time. We're going to call that 10 a.m. But you've also all been text messaged from Noah, who is also a former mannequin, that he would like to meet you all at one of the facilities in Manhattan at around 8:30, an hour and a half for the long meeting.
Well, 11's ass has been drilled to be up early, so he's probably up by like 5 doing fucking calisthenics and weight training and hand-to-hand stuff. So he wakes up, trains, and then goes to see Noah.
Cool. Waylon, is there anything that you're doing? You've been displaced from your home for about a week now. You probably only had enough clothes for about 4 days for the events, and you've since Halo dropped into Dorutska, ran from secret governments, evil agents, and then been replanted in southwestern New York. Anything you need to do, pick up clothes, you're calling family, you're doing any kind of hacking, any kind of research?
Yeah, Waylon's definitely gonna let Mom and Pa know that he's not gonna be coming back for a bit, and get himself some new clothes. Probably gonna be shopping mostly at Bass Pro Shops or whatever, because he's not really the kind to wear anything fashionable. A bunch of trucker hats, a bunch of T-shirts that say things like "I'd rather be fishing," waterproof pants, boots, that kind of thing. And spending a lot of time in Central Park, just taking in the sights, because that's pretty much the only thing about New York that he is even remotely interested in.
Actually, interestingly enough, if you did want to get into nature rather than hopping across the tunnel into New York, you would probably head north, which would take you from Jersey and actually back into New York. There is a massive state park there, which actually has a few historic attractions, including they actually have the shell of a mini flying fortress that STARS employed, which crashed under at some point and actually has since been restored and become an actual museum in the middle of a river.
Oh, that's great. That's definitely an area that he would visit then. Also, he would try to do some fishing. Not on the Hudson, though, because,
you could probably do some fishing at that lake, actually. They're let you know what size of fish you're permitted to actually take out of the water and what size you have to throw back and stuff, because they're fairly environmentally responsible. But you could probably fish and check out the crashed flying fortress, which was called it's called a Constellation class ship, and it's actually called the Panopticon.
Oh, awesome!
They yanked that thing out of the river after it crash landed a few years ago.
Oh yeah, that's what he's gonna be doing for the most part.
Sweet. So I assume you folks will all share an Uber or take a car of some sort. Israel, you have a driver. They could probably pick you up. And
I will offer my friends a ride in the
In your car.
car. Yeah.
Well,
because he bougie. Izzy, at some point I'm going to make you pay the points for the wealth that you have because that's a thing in this game. But for
Yeah.
now, I'm just going to save it.
100% fine with that.
Sweet.
well, I hit up the company for clothes because 11 has a specific way of dressing and he has no money, so.
That's so funny. Cat's in the chat, and someone is my other hat is a largemouth bass. Love it. Using a regular dwarven fishing pole. Unfortunately, dwarves aren't well known in this game. It's a modern game. I didn't say they didn't exist. And also, Cat, it is a pleasure to see you.
Hola, gato.
That's fine. Sweet. So your driver is Jane Smiley. She is a hilarious gal who gives you a lot of flip, but she's one of the best drivers that you've ever had. So you keep her around. She's also combat certified, so she can cover you in case shit goes south.
Mm-hmm.
She picks you up promptly at around 7:45, and you guys are all like, "Hey, it's 45 minutes in the meeting." And she's like, "Guys, it's a Monday morning, and we're heading into Manhattan. What the fuck do you think traffic's gonna look like?" And she's right. You get there about 10 minutes early, despite the fact that it's ordinarily a 15-minute drive. But on a Monday morning, it's awful. So on the morning of March 30th, 2037, you folks essentially pull up to what is a New York sanitation building and drive on in. Sign-off, you'll recognize this as the place where you were once held at gunpoint. And then you're brought up to some offices that are exclusively owned by stars.
Let's be clear. I still have particular issues with that.
Yeah. And then you are actually brought through an office area and past an area where there's like a bunch of offices, actually, not just like meeting rooms and shit.
Right.
Taken into an elevator, and you're actually just escorted by like a run-of-the-mill guard. You guys all are given IDs like when we last played, so there's no like security checks that are really serious or anything like that.
I'm assuming Clips is buying like my dude clothes if he wants it, right?
Yeah, you're both like probably the three of you are all given like credit cards that are in your name but paid off by Eclipse.
Okay.
The
So
being,
11 basically shows up. Yeah. Let's say 11 shows up in a 3-piece suit.
Fair enough.
He basically looks the same way he does at the bottom of the screen over there in Roll 20. Minus the assault rifle.
Waylon's definitely just wearing a Bass Pro Shop shirt and like camo pants and
I mean,
hiking boots.
as has been said before,
And bougie.
Alex is definitely bougie, so he's doing, like same idea, 3-piece vest. It's March, so he's wearing his long coat, nice shoes. He's carrying his cane. He's wearing his glasses. He's making sure that he's got what he needs.
I don't have a cane. I have a green katana.
Tom, for today, I'm carrying the pistol and sword cane.
Good to know. I don't keep track of that. I know that you're not a liar, and you're just going to have what you tell me at the beginning of the session, so I don't stress that.
Okay.
But I do appreciate you telling me, because otherwise I wouldn't know.
I have my regular katana, and then Noah's flippy out katana thing. I haven't quite given it back yet.
Sweet. So you folks enter, essentially you're brought to like double doors. And the double doors slide open, like the guard just grabs one, slides one, and both slide open because it's sort of on a similar crank system. And you are looking at essentially what appears to be a like 17th century Japanese dojo inside of a sanitation center in the heart of. And the guard walks away, and you folks step in. Noah is sort of sitting in meditation, usually like meditation's heart pose, one arm over your chest, but he's missing his right arm. So he just sort of has one hand on the center of his chest, his left arm.
Mm.
And you folks take off your shoes, please have a seat. And he doesn't actually look up, his eyes are still closed.
Nice.
Take off shoes?
Yeah.
All right.
Upon seeing that it was a dojo, Michael starts taking off his shoes before even being asked. Like, oh, I see how this is.
Yeah. Alex does the same. You know, he's done more than one business dealing in Japan.
Waylon goes through the lengthy process of like unlacing his boots and like taking them off.
But that being said, you're still perfectly comfortable without shoes on because, you know, there's no reason not to be when you're walking around your property and you know where the snakes are and all that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you got your thick ass bass kicking socks on.
Right.
Basket.
I imagine the soles of his feet are basically as thick as regular shoe soles. So.
And then, you know, he looks up and says, "Welcome, folks. It is a pleasure to see you all again. We will occasionally use the STARS facilities for our own dealings, even though we are Eclipse and not recognized as a part of any government or UN branch. We do the shadow work that no one else is allowed to, oftentimes illegal, and things that would probably get STARS put under heavy scrutiny, and they're not able to do when the world is threatened quickly. So I am appreciative of you all being here." He looks up and says, "You're a mannequin. I know what you do. You sword and you box. You're a swordsman, sniper, and you box, right?" And he's pointing at Alexander.
Infiltration and target retrieval.
Purely combat. Boxing, swordsman, sniper.
Yep. Pistol.
And he looks at Waylon. I think you're good all around. No specific skills, although I think you're also an excellent shot.
I'm all right.
He smiles. Being humble will get you nowhere in this room. You're an excellent shot. He says, "Excellent. I know you're in a 3-piece suit that you can comfortably move in. You're a spy, so I'm assuming you're in a 3-piece suit that you can comfortably move in." He points at Waylon. "I don't know if you can move in that, but we're about to find out." And he absolutely rushes Alexander and begins throwing a flurry of blows.
First reaction is to actually close the distance and pull up a boxing stance.
All right, everyone, initiative.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of day again.
Hello.
Initiative.
I don't know what my plus is though. Look.
It's on the first page of your sheet. Should be on the right side.
I'm at a 16, Tom, so you know.
Roger that.
Mine's a
I'm
plus 4.
19.
I'm at a 13 total.
While all of that is going on, I'd like to remind everyone that we recently became a Prime member on Streamlabs, which means we have all sorts of new merch. Coffee mugs, tank tops, hats, phone cases, stickers. So if you guys want to check out all the new merch, please go ahead and do that right there. Like I said, say again?
I haven't seen the bloody new merch.
You haven't seen the new merch? Well,
I haven't seen it either.
well, there's one there specifically for Julio.
Yes.
Like asked for,
Is
requested.
it the Smokes Marauder tank top?
It is in fact the Smokes Marauders tank top.
Nailed it.
Nice.
Nice big smokes thing right on the front for you.
Buying that right now.
I like the coffee mug. Like I don't even drink coffee, but that 3BR logo on the black is sexy.
Nice.
Israel, he does in fact connect with a flurry of blows. So it's essentially one strike just to move your guard, a punch to the sternum, and then he actually pushes your left shoulder, essentially throwing you out of your stance and backing you up 5 feet.
Okay.
So he pushes you out of immediate melee range.
Right. He pushes me out of where I want to be.
Exactly what he did, exactly intentional.
Right.
Next up on my initiative was who?
believe-
Leo.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna make some distance and just get ready to defend myself if he attacks in my direction.
Okay. So you'll get a +4 to your defense for if he does attack next turn.
Excellent.
Next up on my... Oh, I see. You rolled like ass, Alexander. So, bro, you are up.
Yep. I'll pull the katana out.
Fair enough.
Since I have a quick draw, I go to swing at him.
Go for it.
Oop.
For the purpose of just knowing, flat end or blade end?
Blade. He's
Okay.
he's a mannequin.
You roll a 20 now, we're going to have problems. Okay, you definitely whiff.
Did it even come out? Yeah, there it is. What's
You swing. He's sort of the order as in my brain is yourself, Israel in the middle. By that I mean Alexander, and then on the right side, or his right side, is Waylon. So he just essentially does like a subtle like just duck, and you swing essentially where he was. As he steps forward, and then it is over to you. By that I mean Alexander.
Okay, so let me double check here because I know I get a whole bunch of special moves for boxing. Okay, so definitely have the flanking. Boxing, cool. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to punch 3 times. I get the 1 punch naturally, and then it's the half action. I get 2 additional punches.
Go for it.
I am flanking automatically, which means I'm going to get a total of +4 on these.
Does it matter if you're flanked by multiple people or no?
No.
You're not, because you got pushed away. But,
well, right, but I'm taking my 5-foot step in,
yeah.
So now I'm close again.
No, go for it. But you only, Julio backed up and went defensive.
Right.
So you only have 1 person flanking.
Yeah, no. I also give everyone flanking regardless of our actual positioning, because in 3.5 D&D you had to be able to draw a diagonal through your enemy. My character does not care. That's not what he does. Okay, so that first one is going to be a total of 18... stop. I'm in... 18, 22 to hit, followed by 24 to hit, followed by 14.
Got it. Those are 3 misses.
Okay.
You throw 1 great feint punch, 1 expert punch, which he has just fucking disappeared from, and another punch which he kind of steps back and smirks.
Okay.
Which puts us at the top of the order, which means that we have him going.
Okay.
He takes a left foot step and towards you, Michael, and just throws a sweep.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity or sort of a reaction save. What the fuck's it called? I will find it. I'm not actually asking you. Go ahead and give me a reflex save.
All right. Well, I rolled an 11. My reflex is total 9, so 20.
Okay.
I also have evasion.
He tries to sweep you and is unsuccessful in that.
Gotcha.
He basically takes a 5-foot step around you, so he is now standing essentially around your back right shoulder, and he has put essentially you in between our good friend Alexander. Julio, we're back over you. He is now roughly 14 feet away from you. You can easily walk over and step into that range, but you realize that he has not actually engaged you yet. He's sort of taking advantage of the fact that you are not engaged with him.
All right, so I know I'm pretty terrible in hand-to-hand combat, so I'm going to try and make myself useful by putting myself in his way, basically, so that the others have
So I think it's the assist action in this game, but I forget how it actually is phrased.
Yeah, I guess that's the overall goal of what I'm trying to do here, to assist.
I forget how it actually works. I forget how it works in 3.5.
What are you playing with, a Genji mask?
No, man.
Ah.
Midoriya.
My Hero Academia?
Yep. It's my COVID mask.
It's got giant holes in it.
It's got a filter in it.
Oh, okay.
It is called Aid.
That's the term.
You can attempt to aid a friend, engage in melee without opponent as a standard action. Make an attack roll against defense 10. If you succeed, you don't actually damage the opponent, but your friend gains a +2 on attack rolls against that opponent or a +2 defense against that opponent. So if you'll go ahead and give me a attack roll, Julio.
Boom.
Which
That's 19, I believe.
it is, which you've definitely gotten over. The next person to attack will get a +2, which is who's next? Right. You are. So you have a plus. You have a +2.
Yep. Cool. Give me 1 second. I just want to look at my skill real fast. Or not skills. Feats. So he's behind me now.
He's behind you.
Basically. Yeah. I mean, I assume I could turn around for free, right?
To the side of him, yeah.
So I turn around, and I use my move by attack to, move towards him, swing, and then end up behind him.
Okay. Do you want to end up on his? On his back right now is Julio. And by Julio, I mean Waylon.
I'll end up on his side then, somewhere.
Okay. So you're like basically diagonal back left.
Yeah.
Now allowing
Alexander
to move up unimpeded.
Exactly.
Okay. Go ahead and give me your attack.
It's a 6 + 6 + the 2 from Waylon.
Does not hit. He essentially ducks and actually uses his palm to deflect the flat of the blade, so he's now facing the both of you. And has his back to our good friend Alexander, whose turn it now is.
I'm down. All right, let's see. So, because boxing is all about continuing to stick and die, it's going to be a jab, straight right hand, uppercut as I do the 3 attacks again.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, Russian boxing has often been compared highly to fencing. The footwork is exactly identical.
There you go. So that's going to be 24, 12, and a 13. What are we going to do about it?
Your first punch literally grazes his ear as he moves his head to the side. He actually looks back at you while smirking like, all right. As he's now aware of it, the other 2 punches are just sort of happily deflected by his hands moving.
Right.
And he now has his back, and he's facing the 3 of you.
Okay.
On his, he just gives you the hands like, bring it.
So while I'm in this boxing stance, my defense is higher, just as a heads up.
Yeah, I recall. I don't remember what that benefit is, but I do recall that.
Yeah. He hasn't attacked me yet, so it doesn't matter. But
he takes a 5-foot step back and just so none of you are flanking or within range any longer for melee, and essentially just goes like this, like bring it, and assumes the stance. Which means Julio, you are up.
All right. So that wasn't super helpful.
No, the +2 actually was more helpful than you realize, I think, but it just wasn't enough at this point in time.
I also rolled like booty cheeks, so.
Y'all also be rolling like booty cheeks. Well, some of you.
It happens.
And I'm not going to use a hero point during a training session. That would just be weird.
I wouldn't recommend it.
All right, so I don't know if I have anything that's particularly useful in this situation. I'm gonna try my hand at attacking, like no technique, no nothing. Just Waylon's gonna rush forward and try to swing a fist at this person and see if something sticks.
You are a government agent with training. Like you've gone through hand-to-hand training, things like a little CQC. And your attack is a 5, which is higher than some actual agents in Solstice games. So you're not bad. It's just you're not using Jeet Kune Do over here. It's rudimentary hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, my companions know how to work in a fight. Waylon knows how to subdue a suspect, and that's about it. You know.
So let's see. In order of yourself, Michael, and then Alexander. So you're on essentially his right side. He's, diagonal right from you. Do you want to step up in a particular way, or are you just going to walk forward and try to hammer him?
Gonna try to go around a little bit to see if I can get some flanking, or rather, try to give my friends flanking when it's their turn, and go for a punch, and that's gonna be a 24 actually.
Nice.
You throw a punch, and like he kind of gives his attention to the other two while like giving you like a little side eye.
Mm-hmm.
You throw a punch, and he like steps back, and you like almost touch his chin. You're like, if you're thinking like in your brain, you're like, if I wasn't a little more hesitant, if I put a little more weight into it, I probably could have rocked. And he actually steps back, surprised, and gives you a little more of a side body, realizing that there's a threat there. Something just happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings it over to my bro, Mike Leroy.
Yep. What is it if when you go full offense in this game? Like, will you get a +4?
Full attack?
Full attack.
It is a feat to do that, which I feel like you have.
I probably have it as one of the ones I want to take, but don't actually own yet. Remember we did that because I had
You
like
have
extras.
+2 on attack rolls to block. That's blocking. I think that you ended up. It's usually like power attack, something like that, which you get a +2 but -2 on something else.
Gotcha.
You have a defensive attack, but you don't have the power attack, which you can take after today's session. If you describe a particularly beautiful attack, though, I've been known to give pluses on things like that.
Yeah.
So what you up to?
All right, so I'm gonna run towards him, use the move by attack and the swing, the normal katana I have, but like basically pivot and almost like a backhand attack. That's the actual attack. When I do that, I'm gonna unleash his sword since it folds out. So it basically comes spinning out the blade as I come around for the actual attack.
Okay, give me a what is the roll skill thing that we use for? Give me a bluff roll to see if he doesn't detect the specific hand movement. You can catch him unaware. If that succeeds, then we'll give you a bonus on your attack.
My bluff is +7, so.
Yep, you succeed. So he doesn't notice. I'm going to give you a +2 on the attack.
All right. +2 from Waylon flanking.
Sure, you're at a +4. I think that's how that works.
Plus, plus the 6 from actual, just my base attack bonus or whatever.
No, I know. You guys haven't figured out to 25 to hit him. You guys are like right there every time. You guys keep rolling 24s.
I mean, I figured it out. It's just my character hasn't figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, right. But you guys realize you've almost nailed him a few times.
Yeah.
Damn. So I need to roll a 20 to hit him.
He steps forward and pivots on his right foot, so he now has Waylon in front, you on his right, and Alexander on his left. And it sort of settles deeper into his stance. He also said, "Bring it," and did not attack you. So he is currently full defense. So he's actually technically at a plus. He's at 29 to hit.
Gotcha.
Which is the other reason why you guys are having difficulty, because this time he did not attack you. Which makes it Alexander's turn. Who's thinking about what he's going to do here?
Yes.
How good is your grapple, Alex?
That is not my jam. I mean,
it's funny that he said that.
It's less than funny because that's what he does to all my monsters in his fucking in his game. All right, so Alex is gonna wade in again. The guy he's mostly paying attention to Michael, so I'm gonna come around and just go straight to body blows.
Dale. That 17 probably would have gotten you the hit given all the bonuses, except he is in full defense now.
Right, that is 17 is actually a 25.
Yep, and that's heartbreaking. He did position where he's looking at all three of you.
Right.
So, since there's so he actually step backs in the second, moves the third, and pushes the third, after dodging the other two.
Right.
And the reason why I said it's funny that you said that Please go ahead and give me a strength check.
Yeah.
He's grappling Alex.
Heartbreaking. But he does have a higher bonus to in feats in things like this. Give me another strength check. Is that a 3?
Yeah.
He fucking throws you about 10 feet into a wall. He just grabs you, fucking steps around, grabs you by like your belts, and just fucking whips you at the wall sideways, and you fucking slam into it. And like low stance turns around, like since he's now facing behind him, since you're down, like fucking ready for the other two.
Thank God that I have all that extra toughness for being a boxer. I'm gonna imagine that I can just shrug that off.
You took like, a bruise, which means that you're at -1 to future rolls and saves, which, is not significant. You did get fucking ass over tits thrown into a wall.
Yeah.
Julio, you're up.
All right. Having just seen this, Waylon is even more worried. And he actually pops up like, what's the point of this exactly?
He smiles and says, experience.
Waylon like shrugs and goes for a sweep. Trying to get fancy now.
Roll it. Roll a natural 20.
Nope. The exact opposite.
Please roll once more to see how
How
wild
bad?
this sweep goes. Yeah. All right. So you just missed a sweep. That's fine. Throw over to you.
Since he's dodging a sweep, I'm gonna try and jump kick him in his head. I mean,
Well-
hopefully I'll catch him off guard since I'm not using the sword. Does Julio still count as flanking him or no?
Yep.
So that's pretty much an 8. I tried.
Since you moved in the air, he actually just like tucks the shoulder and just rolls, like almost in position, but he just gets low enough where, like, he kind of like hops up and then just hits the ground and rolls. Since we are now over to his turn, he will throw a just straight roundhouse at our good friend Waylon.
Oh no, Waylon.
Oh no.
What is your to hit? It is on your character sheet. It's on the right side. You have a 5, so 15. I rolled a 3, and he damn well has a +12 or higher than a +12. Give me a toughness save. Actually, Israel, give me a toughness save. I don't know if you passed your toughness save. I'm sure you did, but I'm supposed to roll for things like that.
Plus 18 plus where's my toughness? Oh,
You-
plus 5. So 23.
He kicks you. It hurts, but you're like, you're gonna have a bruise in your stomach. You're fine. You're at -1 for future rolls and saves. Izzy, you're actually down for this round. You're just stunned for a round, no other side effects, but you're just like, I shaking the cobwebs out.
Yeah, I don't know like how bad it was. Remember that I have a +11 total to the roll, plus I think we said 1 more for being in closed stance.
You rolled a 3.
Yep.
Given the level of this character and your horrific roll, it could have gone much worse for you if he was trying to hurt you.
Fair. All right, just checking.
Yeah. If you guys remember, you each had level 10 characters, and this guy was a good match for you 3. And you are now 3 level 6 characters fighting this character in a different game, who has had 2 years to continue leveling.
Right.
I mean, he's basically like throwing a snow Satan.
Julio didn't fight him the first time. That was a Surge in Pain.
Well, yeah, I know that. Actually, it was a 4 level 10 characters against level 15 characters. Now it's 3 level 6s.
For the record, I almost had him when I fought him on the roof as Hunter.
When he rock bottomed you off the top of the letters.
Yeah, when he was down to only 1 weapon left and we were fighting. Yep. All right. So I'm out this round.
Mm-hmm. Julio, you have been solidly kicked, and it is up to. So essentially, it's back over to you, though. You can continue the fight.
All right. So time to try again with, the kicking didn't work very well. So let's go back to upper body. Another punch.
Sweet. Misses. Bro, over to you.
I'm hoping this is us getting all our bad rolls out.
I mean, some of them are good rolls. We just can't hit them. That's the problem. I'm gonna feint with with his sword in like a horizontal type thing, and then come vertically down with my actual katana. So do you want to roll a bluff or?
Yeah, roll the bluff.
Apparently he wasn't fooled.
Fine.
Well, Julio's still flanking, right?
Yep. What's your plus on that?
That's what it is. It's +6 for me to hit, +2 for Julio, so 15 total. So I roll a shitty 7.
Give me a strength check.
Alright. You're gonna try and grapple me now?
Sort of.
Alright. My strength modifier is a +1.
Yep.
Alright.
He takes his own sword from you. He, like, rolls into your hand, like pushes your thumb off and yanks the sword back and is now armed. And
Fair
says, "That is enough for today."
Oh, thank God.
He folds his swords up, pins it to his gi, and walks over and helps you up, Alexander.
Okay.
I stow the sword and bow.
He bows back.
I take the hand. Thank you.
I'll explain this if you folks will all sit down for me. We'll chat.
I straighten myself up and sit down.
More than sitting, Waylon just kind of falls on his ass.
I sit down the traditional, sitting with your butt on your heels type fucking Japanese sitting. Somewhere in the dojo.
He says, that was about two things. One, in this world, you can be attacked at any time. And at any time, you should be ready for that threat. He points out, Alexander, I know you're wearing a suit, but I assume that it's one that's tailored and comfortable to have combat in.
Yes.
I'd also say that for certain meetings, some kind of lining in the suit to protection against bullets or knives.
Any meeting that I don't know who I'm seeing.
He looks at Michael and says, Michael, I know exactly where you're coming from. We're from the same parent organization, so obviously you knew this to be a fact.
Obviously what?
I knew that. I know that you knew this to be a fact.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at Waylon and says, Waylon, this just surprised the shit out of you and Phil. I apologize.
Hey, man,
I say being from the same company, I also know how hard you can fight back, so I wasn't too concerned about using your own weapons against you.
He laughed. Right. Which is fair. Hold on to it in the future, but at the same time, you never finished your training, which I will help alongside with. The second thing that this is about is the three of you are a team, and you have unique strengths and you have unique weaknesses. At the very beginning of the fight, Waylon, your best chance would have been step up closer to me, given the fact that flanking me and the more that you pile your attacks on, the worse I'm going to do. And once you folks had began to do that, you might have noticed I began fighting defensively specifically for that purpose until I could remove one of the threats. I didn't continue aggressively until thereafter. Your strength is going to be working together. You have unique strengths, whether you're a hacker, whether you're an assassin, whether you're a hodgepodge international spy. You're going to want to definitely combine those strengths, not only for when I surprise you with combat, and no, gentlemen, this won't be the last time. But also when you folks are on a mission, remember to always be prepared, always be ready for combat, and always work together. You guys are going to get information on your next mission today. And we will continue with these themes in mind as we continue your training. I will, going forward, be your combat weapons and trainer for the duration of your time with Eclipse. So despite my fact of me being a one-armed swordsman, please feel the pleasure of knowing that you are being trained by the best.
Hooray.
All right, folks.
The more training, the better.
Oh, yeah.
You folks are in room 12C, which is strangely on the 3rd floor. Government buildings suck. And there should be a guard waiting at the door to escort you folks over to there. I'll be getting changed and meeting you there shortly.
Cool. Head on over.
Yeah.
Right?
Make sure I do the suit back up all nice, you know.
Non-wrinkle, fucking extra stretch, fucking combat suits. Stain resistant.
Yep. Don't want to get blood all over your suit.
I look at Waylon and I'm like, it is difficult to make the decision to attack an international assassin. You did well.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I just give you a nod because I agree.
Can't say I've ever been in a situation where I had to do something like that, but first time for everything.
Just a heads up. He said that won't be the last time he attacks us. That'll probably be the last time he attacks us with a warning, though. So just be ready.
Will instantly starts looking behind him, like, constantly now.
From now on, we should know that anytime he's in a room with us, there's an occasion that he might strike.
The world of international espionage is one of unique characters and unique training opportunities.
You folks remember that there is a jovial, sort of like older gentleman, like sort of a well-muscled, sort of captain of the guard, and like basically head of like the Eclipse SWAT team, whose name went by Lieutenant Harry Gilligan. Mm-hmm. He's the one who meets you at the door and goes, "Hey, gentlemen, how'd training go?"
It was interesting.
Within acceptable limits.
It went.
How hard are your asses hurting from being kicked?
I wasn't touched, so
I'm gonna need a minute to catch my breath.
He goes, "You folks did well. I overheard you saying that you're concerned about him attacking you folks in the future for additional training. Yeah, he definitely has keys to all of your apartments. It's on that level. But you'll be fine. Follow me, folks. We're headed to the 3rd floor."
Okay.
You folks essentially go upstairs, and you're like in the offices of like a government building. So it's like people talking, phones ringing, cubicles, nonsense. You get brought up to a 3rd floor. It's a little bit more quiet. They're on like open desks for them, like things like that. And you're brought to a room called 12C, which happens to have a circular table in the center, a large projection screen at the back of the room, and sitting in a few folks, you have your Eclipse coordinator, whose name is Den Mother. You also have Seth Humphreys, who is your specific handler within the Eclipse organization, and you have a feeling that he has a dual role with Stars and Eclipse. He is a...
He was the one that was driving the limo last time, right?
Did he drive a limo? Yes, he drove the limo.
He drove Alexander's limo, and then he was also our handler, so to speak, on that mission to free my ass.
And you do have the sense that he's combat capable. He's
if not a bit eccentric.
He's 5'10", Samoan, muscular shit. And if you realize, he's been recently wounded in combat. So he had his arm in a sling at one point. You see he's still wearing an eye patch. And it's like not like a R black eye patch. It's like a medical bandage over one eye. Also, there is your quartermaster, who is the R&D analyst. He's also a field analyst, Dr. Quinn Tyler. You also have your pilot for missions, if you're using like one of these STARS-sanctioned craft, Captain Elaine Duran. The lieutenant also sits down, and basically as soon as you folks like arrange yourselves and sit down, Noah also walks up and sort of sits. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folks, plus the 3 of you, making 9.
Alrighty.
Den Mother says, "Welcome, gentlemen. We hope that this morning's training went well." And she stops, waiting for some of you folks to pipe in.
I'm like, it did.
Yeah, that was all right.
She smiles. "Don't worry about it, Waylon. You took a step back to evaluate your opponent, get a lay of the situation, and then you almost knocked his block off." And Noah nods. "He was close to punching my face. I didn't appreciate it. I don't like being hit. Last time I got hit, I lost an arm. Wasn't good."
I think that was more an effect of me, being unintimidating than anything else.
He looks at you and says, "Don't worry. I wouldn't feel bad about it. None of you were intimidating. But that's okay. That's okay. We all lose our fights. In fact, if you haven't lost a fight, I recommend you raise your right arm." And he's like,
He doesn't have an arm. Oops.
which, going back, I was doing like a little of this, describing his combat moves. It was one-armed nonsense. I have a right arm, so I wasn't thinking about that at the time. Den Mother speaks up and says, "Congratulations, folks. The last time all of us were assembled, we executed a mission in the Jacob Javits Center, and we saved the lives of 40,000 people, and probably continued sustainability initiatives on a global scale that would have been halted for a frightfully long period in time. So, congratulations. You folks enacted an astonishing deed, and no one noticed, which, when you're heroes, is kind of sad, but when you're in our game, is essentially the goal." Since that point in time, essentially over the weekend, we've had our analysts and researchers and some of our operatives interrogating the null-face agents of the Laxus organization that were captured, interrogating the overseer, evaluating the organization behind the creation of that perpetual motion battery that you saved, and essentially monitoring all known agencies, including Laxus and other terrorist organizations, to understand what the motives were of those that attempted that sinister deed, and what the ramifications are since we've halted it. And unfortunately, we know very, very little. The null faces are essentially made to withstand all interrogation and brainwashing. Sad fact, some of those folks have nanomachines in their brain where if they are captured, they essentially fry part of their memory center. Not a good thing. And we have other issues that took place. Bro? You good?
Yeah.
All right. So we weren't able to get much for them or the overseer yet. And of course, we're pushing, but interrogation over the course of a few days doesn't necessarily mean that we were frightfully successful. These things can take months. That being said, we have a moment in time where we halted a terrorist action. We want to know this. There's a moment to strike while the iron's hot here, and we are struggling to take it. Interesting facts. You folks may be aware that there have been numerous international terrorist incidents that have occurred throughout our world's history. After those horrific accidents or actions, we oftentimes find that the stocks plummet or rise accordingly. And as such, we've been paying specific attention to who would have benefited financially if the perpetual motion battery had not actually had a successful test at that event. There is a lot of financial information to analyze. We have numerous organizations that invested. We had a few organizations that shorted the stock in anticipation of an unsuccessful test. We don't know to what degree folks are gambling on the stock market or who the corporations are behind the shell corporations that are hiding the real investment potential. We have analysts for this, and they're damn good. The problem is that we've only had a few days, and our needs are much more serious. As such, what we are doing here is we're looking to get the information quickly, which is proving a problem. Before we go into our next mission, What's on our mind is, did Lachesis attempt to halt that perpetual motion battery, or were they just fulfilling a contract? We don't know who is essentially at fault here, and that's part of what we're trying to learn. A few things before we go into the mission briefing. Gentlemen, how are you folks all doing at the Lennox?
Fine for now.
It is substantially more comfortable than some other accommodations.
That ain't what I'm used to, but it works.
She smiles and says, I apologize. But we do appreciate you being here. Essentially, there is an organization, an equity firm, sort of a financial analysis and consulting firm called CSA Equity, that we typically will approach for sensitive information of this nature. They're a consulting firm that has analytics on a wealth of various firms, holding companies, etc. They're generally on the up and up, but they secretly obtain information. They're sort of part of a cool kids club of financial firms that they're essentially can find and deploy information for financial gain quickly. We don't interfere with their operations because they're technically not doing anything illegal except for harboring and sort of utilizing information. Insider trading is a concern, but we're not going to actually go ahead and pursue a case like that, not from the UN STARS branch. And we have a contact named Felix Gallo, who can provide us the information we need, but he is currently playing hardball. He is one of the board members of CSA Equity. They're an Italian-based company, which is loosely important for you folks to know, but not really. And he wants information pertaining to UN STARS activities in Croatia, and we have a few agents operating there, but he will not tell us why. There have been times where he traded unimportant information. This seemingly is unimportant information, but he's not giving it to us without a fight. He's asking for something challenging to give us the information we want, which means two things. The Croatia information is important to him, which may or may not be something that we care about. But the information we're asking for is valuable because he's playing hardball. And he clearly knows that we want it. The mission that we have you folks, that you will enact within a few days' time, we want to get this information from Felix, and given that the iron is hot to strike, we are going to have to trade him the information regarding Croatia in a manner where he thinks that he received the correct information, and when he has lost it, he does not suspect foul play from us.
Fair enough.
We have recently learned that Felix is currently in China. He will be landing at the airport in Shanghai. Then he'll be traveling on a train from Longyang Road Station on the Shanghai subway line to Beijing's West Railway Station. For one reason or another, we have determined that this train line is the appropriate time to make a swap of the information. He's going to be using it anyway, and we can put an agent on that train. It's convenient for both sides. During his duration on that train, we have to swap information. Alex, you're our best man to be in that position, to meet with Felix Gallo, quote unquote, swap the information. You receive the financial data that we require. He receives the information regarding Croatia that he requires. Now, normally we would do something like that. It would be fine, but since we don't want to give him the information, it's problematic. We're going to have to give him something resembling authentic information, at least on the surface level. If he dives too deep and sees it's false, it's a problem. But if he gets real information, it's an even worse problem. We're going to provide him with a USB that permits high-speed download of the file. But we're not going to give him the info directly on a file, so he's going to have to download it. From the moment you hand him that USB, we're going to have a countdown until we have to either erase the data from his hands or remove the file from his possession. So what we're going to do is the following. We're going to divert the train that he's on to a different track that will take the train through a tunnel and halt his download. Waylon, we would like for you to be inside of the train's machine room and electronics compartments, because we're going to need you to be there for a few different reasons. This is going to be problematic because we can't get you in there without a train manufacturer's key card, which we're going to have to acquire. You're going to run a point on all electronics. I'll get into why that will be so important. Mostly, you're going to have to keep the train under speed if we start to leave the tunnel. Stop the train if necessary. You're going to have to do a few different things to hide what Michael will be doing. And you're also going to have to provide power so this way we can actually utilize the machine to erase the drive on Felix's computer. Michael, your job will be to be on the train, on the outside, doing various things which allow our mission to be successful. You're going to have to place a remote device directly above Felix's seat on the train, which will erase his computer. If he goes through the tunnel, he's unable to contribute the download. He thinks the download failed and his device is now defunct. He will be embarrassed, but he likely won't ask for the information again because it's professionally embarrassing, and now we have the weight to say, no, we gave it to you once.
Fair enough.
The first issue is that we have to get the key card for the train. The train that we're talking about is specifically the Shanghai Maglev, which is the fastest train in the world. It will essentially take care of the trip from Shanghai to Beijing, which is roughly 600 and change miles in under 4.5 hours, which is extremely fast. In order to gain access to this train, do you guys hear this Google thing in the background?
Yeah.
Hey, Google, stop, bitch. In order to gain access to this key card, you folks are going to have to go directly to the manufacturer of the train, an organization called ThyssenKrupp. They're in Germany. You're going to have to get the key card specifically from their manufacturing department because they're only 4 in creation, and we have access to approximately 0 of them. When you have a train that goes 267 miles per hour and an average speed of 155 miles per hour, these things are highly secretive. So we have the following mission. We're going to send you folks to Germany. You're going to infiltrate the ThyssenKrupp manufacturing plant. They have offices for a variety of meetings and for visitors and for different levels of manufacturing. We're going to acquire one of these manufacturing key cards, and then we're going to send you folks on a lovely train for the specific purpose of this information swap and making sure that nothing transpires with him receiving this information and us not receiving ours. Questions? I'm sure there are tons.
So, I'm going to be climbing around the exterior of the world's fastest train?
Yep.
Excellent.
And you're going to be wearing a suit which will essentially allow you to retain your strength on the outside of the train itself. And it will also project a wind-blocking energy shield in front of you by about 1.5 foot. So a little bit less than arm's length.
Fair enough.
You will also be given specific magnetic grips on your gloves that will allow you to stay on the train. Your job will be to stow away on the train for the express purpose of revealing yourself, climbing to the top, going over Felix's seat, and thereby erasing the data.
Works for me.
Waylon, we're going to get you that key card. We're going to get you a uniform. We're going to get you into the electronics car, which thankfully, since there's only 4 key cards in the world that can get into the electronics car, it's oftentimes serviced remotely. Once you're in there, we do not expect for any reason for your discovery to be possible. But once you're there, fucking Noah and Quentin both laugh because they know how these things go. Dead Mother smiles and says, once you're on there, you're going to potentially limit the train speed. A train of this nature has a ton of sensors to determine if its speed is safe. A person on the top is going to violate all of those sensors. You're going to have to turn them off and make the train think that it's running normally. And you're also going to have to provide energy to the device that Michael is going to plant in the car and tap into the train's energy system. Once you focus, communication with us will be extraordinarily limited, which is good because it's preventing the download. And once you folks are in the tunnel, our ability to offer you actual assistance will be horrifically limited. It's essentially 0. We're able to divert the train without you folks having any issues and providing all of the covers and safeguards there. This way no one suspects anything. But it will be important that we do so. If all this goes well, Alex makes the swap. Alex, you're there also in case anything goes wrong. So essentially you have to make sure that in the event someone does want to go into the electronics room, they don't. etc. Once that's done, the train exits the tunnel, and if all has gone well, our friend Felix Gallo is cursing that tunnel and the diversion. Sheep on the track, whatever plan we have in mind. And you folks exit safely. We have the data we want, and we pursue the appropriate villain. Is that all well understood?
Yep.
Sounds good
Alex,
to me.
Yep.
Any questions?
It seems
No,
straightforward.
whatsoever.
I am simply a proxy.
She smiles. If you folks are on Roll20, I just brought you to a map. Are you folks able to see it?
Hold on. I am.
That's the one.
I am moving us to a different scene. This is the first time that I've been the player in one that is using maps. All right, we're good.
This is the headquarters of ThyssenKrupp, essentially where they're meeting with folks, where they have sort of their corporate campuses where folks live on site because they're engineers and those folks are always working. Q4 is the manufacturing plant. Q2 is essentially Q2 and Q1 is essentially where they are inviting visitors. There are a variety of silos and other buildings there. And this is the part where being a GM for a spy game gets entertaining. You folks are going to determine how you want to break into this facility, get the key card from Q4, and I'm going to be fast enough to provide you folks with all the answers that you need to break in with your own plan.
Yay,
Cool.
spy games!
A few notes. The dotted blue line around it is a fence. It has top of the line security. There is a station that essentially parks on the outside of that fence, which will allow folks to commute into work, because some folks will have to. A103 is a building that's part of the campus, but outside of the fence. If you have questions about rooms Q10, or sort of buildings Q10, Q8, Q6, Q5, Q7, I'm happy to provide those answers. Your sort of buildings of interest are Q4, which is the actual manufacturing plants where you're going to get the key card from. They sort of keep it under lock and key. Q2, Q1, if you guys are going to walk in through the front door, is relevant. And everything else is essentially meh, depending on what you folks want to do. There are a few non-sort of facility buildings that are sort of on the same campus for another company that rents out space. Those are those gray buildings on the left side. And the Kita building is a security, sort of an outside security place where they have folks that guard the perimeter and do whatnot and all that good stuff. And there is an underground car park and visitors delivery place, which you'll see there's that yellow circle that sort of shows where the entrance to that is, where there is a yellow line that sort of leads underground under Q2 building. And you see there's an entrance for underground car park staff a little bit to the left of that area, where other folks can get into the car park at different directions. So 2 ways into the underground car park. I'm actually going to literally wheel back and not be on camera while the three of you discuss what your hearts say you want to do. It's your mission.
Fair enough.
I can hear you. Go.
All right. Our options are charm our way in through the front, spend money to get office in the grey building, sneak in the middle of the night, sneak in as delivery people. Any preference?
I could do charming or sneaking. Money, not so much.
Somewhat, not rich myself, so.
Waylon, do you think it is possible to disrupt computer systems or create ideas that would allow us to get through doors?
I can most definitely disrupt computer systems. I don't know about creating any kind of idea or something like that.
I would think first is to find out if locks are mechanical, RFID, retinal, or facial recognition.
Right.
Maybe once we know what kind of locks they are, we can put ourselves in the system.
Exactly.
Does your family have any dealings with this company?
Mm. We have some transportation dealings. I don't know if this company in particular. That's what I was thinking, that we could ask for a tour of the facility as investors.
Exactly. I could dress up and look more like you and pretend I'm one of your proteges from the family. Adopt a little Russian accent as its way. And Waylon could be our associate slash tech guy slash whatever lawyer that we need to bring with us so we don't get sued wherever we go.
The question is, do we want to place our name on this?
Well, it's just a key card getting stolen. Just because a key card gets stolen while we're there doesn't mean anything.
One of 4 key cards. It is a lot like saying, "Oh, it was just key that got stolen," but key opens Fort Knox.
True.
Quentin says, as we listen to your conversation, the locks are RFID, which works to our advantage given that we are capable of producing an RFID signal on the spot, but not creating a complex mechanical key on the spot. That works to our advantage.
Yeah, if it's RFID, then it's no problem. I can easily clone that stuff. It's I honestly don't understand why companies keep using RFID. This stuff is extremely insecure.
Quentin also says the problem with this particular key that we're stealing is that it actually is a mechanical key. It is about the size of a floppy disk. If anyone remembers what those looks like, it's roughly this big. And the key portion is a complex series of mechanical shapes and sizes. And also, once you press the button when the lock is in the door, they reconfigure according to the specific lock. Nearly impossible to manufacture on the spot. If you folks did want to go in, essentially undercover, there is a concern, whereas, Alex, if you are seen at this particular facility where the train's built, a day before you were also meeting with our good friend, there's some issues there. We could solve that with makeup and covers and things like that. So if you folks are going to go in undercover, or if you guys are going to go in sort of through the front door, we are going to want to essentially modify your appearance for one of the 2 missions.
This was my concern. I don't know if I want my name attached to the breaking and entering.
Right.
Obviously, manufacturing has staff. Is it possible to have one win lottery, go on trip, not given 2 weeks notice?
Yes. We have already comprised a large number of Quentin backs up. This mission we are far more prepared for than the train mission. And so if you would like to assume the identity of anyone on staff by potentially having them win a lottery, yes. I will say, if someone wins a lottery, they're going to let the company know that they're taking a day off or quitting or something, in which case we can't assume their identity easily. We're going to look for them to stay home from work a different way.
However you want. This is behind the scenes thing. Normally, Papa handles that.
Den Mother smiles. She's like, well, Den Mother will handle it this time.
Do we want...
Who would you like? Whose identity would you like to assume?
I imagine that Michael would be best at assuming identity. If I have my way, I would be placed in a position to handle escape and covering and covering Michael as needed. Michael does infiltration and retrieval of key. Waylon is, as American movie says, the man in the chair.
Cleo, I didn't hear what you said.
I like chairs. Chairs for coffee.
We can't...
I promise that when you're on mission, I won't attack you randomly.
Does this seem acceptable division of responsibility?
Works for me.
Works. We'll have to find the appropriate person for Michael to assume their identity. As such, Michael, who would you like to go into the headquarters as? And it has to be someone who has access to this key card or the ability to print one.
Has to be someone on the younger side.
There are a lot of young, straight out of MIT type or various other, prestigious engineering colleges that work here with a little bit of makeup and touch up, which we want to do. We can easily make you one of the scrawny, unassuming engineers that frequent the plant, hiding your actual muscular build and battle capability as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, anyone will do, as long as they have access to the site that's required.
No, it kind of goes like this, like yes and no. It also would have to be a role that you could actually fulfill. I'm not saying exactly design a new, a high-speed train, but the type of role that you could loosely get away with should anyone put questions to you.
Fair enough. Could be one of the drivers. You would need access to the train, right?
So one of these, okay. Quentin nods. I do see that we actually do have a gentleman by the name of Bruno Schmidt, who is one of the conductors hired on for the purpose of testing the new experimental designs. As such, we can have you take essentially their role. The one caveat being that he doesn't have access to the key card itself since he doesn't do any of the actual electronics engineering. You would have to rely on, my assumption would be, you'd have to rely on Waylon in order to get you into that room.
I can do that.
Gotcha.
Which then adds the responsibility to Alexander. You're going to have to somehow get Julio tapped into that building, which is a closed internet circuit.
I like being on top of buildings. Assumedly, I can tap in through telephonic cables on top.
You can. This would mean that you're going to utilize the Q1 building, which actually is a tower, which would allow you to not only jack into the essentially that the building above Q1 on the map, which has like the wavy lines, is a tower that's sort of essentially used for random machinery. They put on their own Wi-Fi signals. This is like Verizon Fios for this space. And so we can put you on top of that building. What I would recommend doing is actually entering the compound, stashed away within the vehicle that Michael uses, getting off that vehicle from the underground car park, heading into that building from underground, getting yourself to the top of that building, where you can then provide your sniper cover and or get Waylon into the system. Then, if you want to be in charge of the exfiltration, you can very easily use the same vehicle and be in the car if you need to drive in a hurry.
Excellent. I'm fine with that. I would request, if it's a tower, some sort of base jumping suit in the event that I need to rapidly leave over fence.
Noah puts his head down. It's like, I miss wing gliding. Looks at his missing right arm. Quentin says, would you like a wing glide suit, which can give you a little bit of distance, or a pure base jumping suit, which is going to allow you to be a lovely target should anyone actually raise a gun at you?
Wing glide.
I had assumed as much. Are you trained in a wing glide suit?
Moderate training on the acrobatics, athletics, and the like.
All right, don't break your neck, but it can be provided for.
Plus some basic piloting, and I've got a variety of skills that could easily say that I've done it at least once.
Liam Neeson's. All right, you got it. Excellent. Waylon, we will provide you with the relevant equipment in order to be on site. If you park a car essentially on property ad nauseum, they would likely send out a car to investigate to make sure everything's fine. So we will give you a local telecom van and outfit and just essentially have you parked next to one of the civilian telephone poles in the area.
Sounds good.
Den Mother says, and as she smiles, you once again notice there are like fine lines in her face, as if everything is not exactly like, she actually has seams to her face that are very, very hard to notice, but still noticeable. Den Mother says, just a reminder, gentlemen, this isn't an international corporation funding terrorism. This isn't a terrorist group itself. This is a group of legal engineers and manufacturers conducting run-of-the-mill business, which is the development of train and rail technology. If anyone pulls a gun on you, which they shouldn't, I mean, there's only pistols in their guards here. We don't have anything like arms, rifles, or a taser, which is more likely what will be aimed at you. Do not hurt these individuals. Do not maim these individuals. They're civilians. The only reason we're not asking for this key card is because it's attached to a mission which is of the highest secrecy.
0 permanent damage, only rendering unconscious if absolutely necessary. Understood.
She nods.
In other words, no wet works.
None. No, it says none. Not necessary. Excellent.
I will bring a needle rifle if necessary.
And Quentin says the penultimate success of this mission would be that you have gotten in and gotten out with no one the wiser, with one of the 4 key cards, of which only 2 are on this facility. We assume that one is potentially in active use, and one is actually under lock and key in the manufacturing lab itself. The Quentin Tyler, the Dr. Quentin Tyler seal of success means that you folks printed your own key card from the lab, and as a result, nothing is missing, and no one has any clue that you were there, if at all possible.
Fair enough. I'm relatively new to this position.
Yes, we've selected someone that is relatively new to the company. Otherwise, people would know you, question you, be well aware of you. There are also a bunch of introverted engineers with no social lives, so we're assuming that you shouldn't have much of a problem. Den Mother, stop. That wasn't an insult, but we assume that you shouldn't have any problem assuming this gentleman's identity.
No.
Excellent.
As a rather new employee who's looking to make the best of my situation and a good first impression on my fellow employees, I will be requiring donuts and coffee with the option of lacing them with X-Lax type glaze so that I may remove any targets from my way, barring my way without actually having to punch them in the face. Some quick, acting X-Lax type thing or whatever. Here's your coffee, sir. Now I have to use the bathroom. Bye. You're no longer a threat to me.
Works.
Papa says in old days it was eye drops. Functions substantially quickly. Also, not really traceable. Not really something that someone will notice that you have done and can be written off as prank.
That works.
Den Mother just shakes her head.
I was gonna say, if we have a slightly more advanced way of doing eye drops and stuff, that's fine, but
Sometimes oldies are goodies. That's why I use rice and BBs.
fair enough.
Den Mother says, excellent. Captain Duran, if you would be so kind as to get these folks on a plane. It is feasible for you to take the night shift as Bruno Schmidt, and I think that's what we'll do, just to provide you with cover and less staff in the building, which means less interactions. Also, given the fact that it's early morning here, we're flying you folks to Germany. They're later in the day. We can get you there right around nighttime.
Excellent.
That works.
I will also be dressed as technician to get onto tower, correct?
There shouldn't be a technician on that tower. There's no work order. There's no time to procure one. You will be in a stealth suit. Your finest black.
I will be here making no sound and pretending that I don't exist. Understood.
Right. Is there anything that you folks want to do before you get put on the plane?
Nope.
You folks are then essentially given 30 minutes to grab whatever you need from like the armory, any kind of weird gizmos or gadgets. A laptop and is provided for Waylon so he can do his hacking thing in case he needs any kind of like technological backup. And the van itself is going to have gear in it for him, so he's covered in that sense. He's going to meet you folks there. Anything else that you folks want?
Do we have anything like pens that have like lasers in them or something if I have to like cut through something or?
Yeah. Quentin says, you know what? Give me that watch back with the with sort of the trank
The
darts.
darts, yeah.
I will provide you with one that has the trank darts as well as a cutting laser.
That works.
I grab a trank pistol and a trank rifle.
Okay.
As needed.
Y'all
Also,
got a English-German dictionary? Because I ain't speak a lick of it.
Fucking
Google Translate, bro. Come on.
Quinn just like jaw drops and says, "Yeah, I'll get you a translator earpiece, and I'll get you glasses that do what the Google Translate does. You hold up your phone to translate the language in front of you. We will have
excellent.
that signal sent to a satellite and hopefully translated by analysts in real time. So this way you are not left in an uncomfortable situation."
I assume that'll be going for everybody.
Yes, we can roll it out to everyone. Does anyone on this team speak German?
I just
know, I
picked
just
my
picked
languages and I don't recall what they were. Hold on.
What he
Yes,
said.
I speak German.
I do not.
Yeah, out of character, the funny thing is I do speak German, but Waylon does not.
Yeah, this is
I do not speak German. In character or out of.
Yeah. You see that like Noah's kind of like puts his fingers up and he's like doing like a switch thing between Michael and Alexander. He's like, oh, fuck it. They'll just do what they do. They're fine the way they are. He's like, you speak German, he doesn't. It's probably better off that you guys swap, but whatever.
Is what it is. Also, if you have anything that can brute force through a lock, like an electronic lock, like say Wheeling can't hack it from where he is and I need to get through something quickly that won't leave a trace, or at least not a big trace.
I'm decently sure the definition of brute force is leaf trace.
Fucking Noah raised an eyebrows. Like any lock that you can't pick will get something to.
Well, I don't mean like physical lock. I mean electronic, like just like a quick fire, like fucking use every known word in the fucking English language to try and bust through like a firewall type thing or whatever.
Dictionary hack, second to that.
Yeah. Fucking whatchamacallit it. Noah says that's what Waylon's for. But we're going to have you with a toolkit that will have a variety of gadgets that will allow Waylon to act through you where necessary.
Fair enough.
Great.
Oh.
Your plane leaves in 45 minutes, gentlemen. It is a long flight, even with the nebula. I recommend that you try to get some sleep.
Cool. Well, since I got 45 minutes before we take off, would you like to go another round, Noah? Like fucking point at the katana.
Noah says yes, but we're going to do that off screen just because
Yeah, of course.
timing and things.
Yeah. I didn't mean to actually roleplay it or anything.
He lets up in places just like it is an evaluative sense of your combat ability, and then whoops your ass in other places. But it's a good bit of sparring.
Fair enough.
Sweet. You folks are back on the nebula for. Actually, you've all been on the nebula because you evac'd from Dovitska on the nebula. You folks fly over Germany. You guys are essentially met up with a STARS team that provides you with the uniforms, the toolkits. The man in the van has a literal van for this one. You are given like a janky, like fucking German sedan for your purposes, bro. The rear two seats are fully functional. However, if Alexander lays down essentially where your feet go in the car, there's a compartment that opens and lets him down onto the road. When you get to the parking lot, you're actually going to go over a manhole cover, which will let like give a specific parking space, and you're going to let Alexander into sort of the inner workings of the building, so he can actually get to the tower without being seen.
Cool.
Sounds good to
As
me.
far as weaponry goes, I didn't bring anything. I didn't bring a handgun or anything. Unless Noah will let me use his like folding katana again, which they probably wouldn't be able to recognize. That's the only thing I would bring.
For the time being, Noah has taken back possession of his own katana.
Okay, so then I bring literally no weapons, no handguns, no katanas, no nothing.
Cool. You folks land. One of the agents actually gives you a watch, and it looks like shit, bro. It's like fucking like cloth band, like silver ring, 2 black hands, and he's like, you press this button for the laser, you double tap the same button for the dart. The reason you have this watch, and like they're putting the makeup on you and shit while you're doing this, you call a photo of the guy, and his staff photo actually has him in the photo, like with his arms crossed, and his watch is showing.
Nice.
He made this watch look exactly like the watch Bruno typically uses.
Gotcha. I assume it's coded to my DNA, so if someone tries to grab my wrist, they're not going to laser themselves
No.
or laser me.
It would be an awesome if that were the case, but no, don't let him grab your left wrist. Same things like that as when someone has condensation on their hand, they go to use their wrist and the fucking thing doesn't work because the DNA scanner doesn't work. No, just standard business. So if you play the drums, don't go slamming your wrist on your desk. You might trank your computer screen. On the map that we have, where do you want to be parked, Julio?
On the map, there is. Well, they're going in through. Where is Joe going in through?
That yellow circle, like
Yellow
that dotted yellow circle, and then he's going to go into that yellow line, which actually takes you underground into the car park.
Okay. So I should probably park on Altendorfer Straße, so that I have closer access to all the buildings if there's Wi-Fi or something like that.
Cool. You are parked essentially slightly north of that building that's called A103. If you actually go onto Altendorfer Straße, you actually have to go through security clearance. Or you could be, there's that station for Thrissencup, which is like, it is actually a station for the employees to get to work. You could probably get on the other side of that fence, like, and sort of be in the station if you want to be there also.
That's probably even better because it's most likely connected to the system. So
cool. All right. So you're actually working on that little station.
Yeah.
Which is like hybrid run by the Thrissencup Corporation itself and like local governments, whatever.
Yeah. It's an intersection of company and local networks. Yep. So
they have a private train which takes people to work every day from the main city because they're a train company and the government oversees parts of it just because reasons.
Wunderbar.
He said wunderbar. Great. Bro, you're in the sedan. Michael, Alexander, you're also in the sedan, laying down the back seat.
Okay.
You're provided with a license, the proper identification, all of that good stuff, Michael.
Yep. So I drive up.
Sweet. You continue down Altendorfer Straße, hang a right on to Hans Bachler Straße. Straße means street, in case you're wondering why that word's repeatedly used. You make a left towards the compound, and you arrive at the main gate.
All right, pull up. Wave to the guard and pull out my ID.
A gentleman walks over. It's a guard with the last name of Wiegand. Walks over, looks into the car, looks at the ID, does a little scan thing, looks at your face, hands it back to you, and says, Bruno, and just fucking waves you through.
Okay, I wave. Keep it moving.
In which case, you continue driving along, and you make a left into the underground car park. You essentially drive up, the little army dude goes up, and then the army dude goes down, and you continue driving.
You said army dude. I thought you said army dude. like dude from an army.
Yeah, I meant I don't know what it's called.
I know, the gate thing.
Yeah,
right?
The arm thingy.
Yeah.
The stanchion.
Is that it? That's not called a stanchion. Stanchion's an upright thing that stays still.
I thought they were both stanchions.
I could be wrong.
It's like a security gate, basically,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
So I'm wondering if there's a specific name for it. Doesn't matter.
The arm dealing, like Julio said.
Right. The army. Call it the army.
Yeah, the army deal.
So you folks are essentially requested to drive up to space like, I don't know, 4D
Okay.
in order to park your car.
Is that where the sewer cap is?
That's where the sewer cover is.
Yeah,
It's not
so-
really a sewer cover, it's just like a grating for service.
So I drive up and I like double tap the floor with my foot to let him know we're in
But
position.
as you're driving up, like, you know how like the backup cam on a car?
Mm.
You're backing up, it shows a little camera what you're backing up to. There's actually a camera that shows beneath your car so you can line up perfectly
Gotcha.
to open the
Cool.
subterranean door thing.
Can Alexander see it?
No, he can't see the camera, but when you let him know that it's go time, he can
Yeah.
have
So
his thing.
I pull up, make sure it's precise, and then I double tap the floor in a specific way that he knows it's go time.
Awesome. We're going to do the thing that I ask folks to do when they're playing spy games or any other game that involves stealth, which is everyone's going to
Give you a shit ton of rolls.
Yeah, roll 10d20 in roll 20. These will essentially be your stealth / notice / whatever rolls.
There you go.
It's /roll, right?
Jeez.
No,
Hey.
damn, son, that 20's there. Nice.
2 nat 20s and a 2, so if it's a 2, I fuck up, at least with the 20, I'll be good. Some decently high rolls, 18s, 19s. 4 and a 2 is a little disheartening, but yellow.
It's funny how Julio's, when I like wrote everything from left to right, his list is
Mhm.
bigger than Israel's because there's a lot more 2-digit numbers in there.
Hmm.
You just lose my brother? Oh no.
No, I'm here. I just shut my camera for a second. I just stand up and I'm not wearing pants.
That's
And
fair.
the studio audience does not need to see that.
This would not be the first time that something of that nature happens on 3B radio, but you know.
Well, not while live, at least.
That's hilarious. What happened?
We'll save that for the
we'll
for the
we'll save that for
bloopers
the subscribers who subscribe. They get access to our Discord.
That is
That's
true.
some
can get a
OnlyFans
story.
here.
There. All right. Alex, you get positioned. There's a double kick on the floor, and you see that a door, like by your upper chest and head, opens up. There is a sort of a service hatch that you can now open comfortably and sort of wiggle your way down into.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I do my thing.
Getting into a sort of a narrow enclosed space with a ladder upside down is ridiculously tricky, but you navigate it well, and you go in and get yourself in. At this point in time, Noah comes over the radio and says, "Folks, your mission is officially operational. I wish you all good luck."
Thank you.
I don't respond just in case.
Yep. Well, if you guys recall, you guys are all mic'd up. We can sub-vocalize.
Well, I meant any transmissions whatsoever.
Okay. And you get yourself into the hatch.
Mm-hmm.
Julio, you drive up to the station club.
Mhm.
You park yourself alongside. You see that there is a parking lot that is available to be parked in. You can double park next to the station where there's already parking, or you could just pull into a space. Which of the three do you prefer?
So I think I will like. So the essence of social engineering is to be as if you belong there. So I'm going to double park and I'm going to put cones too.
I like it.
I'm gonna be as inconvenient as possible so that people go like, "Oh, this fucking guy," but nobody questions it.
You do it and also immediately like, and like someone just like goes around you.
Yeah.
Scheiße! And just fucking keeps driving.
That's what I did last mission. Remember, I was trying to be stealthy, so I peacocked the hell out of it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like no one's gonna look. No one's gonna look at the dude that's like trying to be noticed more than once.
Right. And yeah, it works. Like a few people got annoyed, but this isn't like a massively trafficked road, particularly this late at night. So, you're good. Cool.
I am annoying, but not unexpected.
Right. Brother,
Jeez.
you have to walk essentially what is west on that map to the entrance for underground car park staff, which for you is an exit as you head to work towards the Q4 building.
Cool. So I grab my stuff, my donuts, my coffee that I'm bringing for my fellow workers, and start strolling.
Sweet.
Put my ID tag around my neck, so if anyone needs to see it, I don't even have to reach for it. Sing a little, whistle a little German ditty as I'm walking,
The northern building of Q6 is actually essentially where like any dining, socializing, that type of stuff for the company happens. It's like where the engineers get to like come out of their cave. They're not seen there too often. As a driver, you're typically not there too often. But if you want to go ahead and poison some folks that work in the building, that is one place you could drop off the coffee and donuts. Otherwise, you could go to Q4. There is like a quote-unquote break room, which is like the size of a closet where there's a coffee machine and like a soda machine.
I'm carrying it with me, so in case like I come across like a security guard that doesn't want to get the fuck out of my way, I'll just be like, hey, because I'm going this way anyway. You want some coffee and a donut? And goes and uses the bathroom. I'm not trying to poison the whole facility, because then everyone will be in the bathroom. They're like, oh look, why are we all here? It's just like it's an insurance policy. In case shit happens, I have it on me. If I don't need to use them, then fair enough.
All right, so you're carrying it with you. You're bypassing essentially what is the break room area in that same building. You do get changed into your like actual getup. So when you're on staff, you put on like one of them onesies, like one of those work suits, which is like the zipper in the back. So you go ahead and walk on over, and you get to the locker. And sure enough, it is fingerprint scan to get into the locker and get to his work clothes.
Fair enough. I dial up Waylon. I'm like, hey. So I sub-vocalize like, Waylon, I'm at a fingerprint scanner, and I need you to hack it for me.
Okie dokie. So considering that I'm already parked, I imagine I'm already plugged in.
You're not, and so we go to Alexander, who is now in the car park underground and has to make his way up the telecommunications, essentially a shaft, to get to the very top for the purpose of plugging in.
Okay. All right. So I continue through the car park. I'm still in the maintenance tunnel, aren't I?
Yep. So you climb down.
Fucking it's Jeffrey's tube time is what it is. I'm doing my best Star Trek impersonation.
Pretty much.
You wish you were LeVar Burton?
I wish I was LeVar Burton.
That's a strange reference that no one's going to get except for my brother. Fine. You you essentially go down the ladder. You enter like a small tunnel, which one end heads further south and west along the compound. The other end heads north and directly to the telecommunications, sort of like a sub-servicing area.
All right, north it is.
You get to it, and there is a mechanical lock in front of you.
Okay, so I pick the lock. Pick the lock is disable device. Oof. Not as good at that as I'd like to be.
You're picking the lock, and
hold on. Wait. I'm going to use a hero point on that.
Okay, you're using your single hero point for a lock.
Yeah. What is better than a 2?
What is the total of your roll?
A 22.
Wait, you said you're bad at disable device? How did you get a 22?
Because it's a hero point, so it's an 18.
Right. Sorry, correct. Yeah, you get through with no problem. You're like, wait a second. Oh, I picked one of these the last time I was in Germany. That's easy. Click, clack, and you would have had no idea how to do it except you struggled with that type of lock before, and you're like, all right, I'm good here.
Yeah, I was like, right, German locks.
Oh yeah, right.
All right.
You get through, and you see that there's like a terminal for like logging like service requests, things like that. You also see that there is a place where you are supposed to scan a badge.
Like to continue forward?
You're supposed to. Like, if you're a guy who's like coming down here and you're going to log in that you're completing a work order, you're supposed to scan a badge, and you are supposed to like actually like data entry of the work you're doing and all that kind of stuff.
I will totally log. Broke in. No, I can continue back.
Right on. And you see that you're sort of like in a
Sign
small
up.
area with like those two terminals, and there's a staircase, like a service staircase that heads up. There's also an elevator that heads up.
Definitely the service staircase.
Cool. As you walk past the elevator, you see that it would have required the scanning of that badge to gain further access to the building. And so you just proceed upwards. Walkie walk.
Fucking
walk.
getting my flights of stairs in for the day.
Yep. You do have with you essentially it's a device. It has like 19 different connection points, one of which could be hardwired. You'd have to like do wire cutting, actually like tape that shit in place for Julio to do his thing. There's like a USB, there's a USB-C, there's like there's a variety of jacks.
Okay.
For buildings that are actually wired with HDMI, because it can carry a multitude of signals, not just audio-visual. Like you have like an HDMI attachment. But you essentially keep on walking up as quietly as possible. And thankfully you are quiet.
Okay, so I find my spot and I...
Well, ideally you want to get on the roof of this building.
Yes.
And so you get to the very top floor.
Okay.
There is a door which leads out to the roof.
All right.
And once again, it requires the scan of a badge to provide you with access.
Wrench time.
Oh god.
You're gonna wrench your way through.
Not gonna actually wrench my way through. But American components and Russian components, they're all the same. They're all made in Taiwan.
Did you just fucking quote what's that movie? It's not the Meteor movie.
It is the Meteor movie.
Yeah,
It's one of the Meteor movies. For whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
that summer was all about Meteor movies. We had Deep Impact, we had the one with DJ Qualis, and we had that one, which is Armageddon.
Armageddon, there you go.
Peter Stormare, by the way, always a fucking delight.
Absolutely.
So I look at this computer thing, and I look at the scanning and the badge thing.
There isn't a open jack on it for you to plug something in.
Exactly.
But there is like a housing, which if you had a Phillips head screwdriver, you could easily just pop open.
Hopefully I have tools with me. With the assembly.
You have like, your little like your little utility belt and like a little thigh pouch type of a thing.
I open this shit up. Jackrabbit.
Present.
I need thing open.
Okay.
So I look. I look at it, and I look at the jacks on my little box. I'm like, is there? And I do my best to connect them as possible while having Julio kind of any questions I have.
Walk him through.
Yeah, I ask him.
Yeah.
Now that you have the housing open, there's a variety of wires that are exposed and available. There's also like a few weird, like little 3-dot things that you can plug shit into. You take a look at your device and you see that a few of those things might actually fit.
Okay. So, would you like me to roll computers with Julio's assist, so I get the +2, or how would you like me to handle that?
Well, first, actually, give me a general computers roll. This isn't you actually doing anything. This is you describing the situation to Waylon for his interpretation and guidance.
Thank you.
Is this your 15?
Yes.
Okay. You inform him that there's like a little doohickey where there's like a little 3-prong thing that you can plug into. There's like what looks like it could be like a USB, but it has like a little weird hard angular edge. And he's like, not that. And you're like, it's like, there's a little 2-dot thing, which looks could be like a 4-dot thing. He's like, use that one. And you plug in the 2-dot thing into a 4-dot prong. There's like fucking like 5 micro wires that are like really adhered together. You plug that in, and Julio, you're now in that security lock, but not the overall system.
Right.
Right. Do I need to make my way in through the network?
He has to get to the roof to put you into the network, but what you need to do is just give him the opening of this door so he can get to the roof.
Roger that.
So if you want to go ahead and give me a disabled device, actually, there's a better one. What's the skill for it? Actually, just give me a computer's roll. You're at a plus 14. You're a beast.
Oh no.
Unless you do that.
Unless that happens.
I was even thinking in my brain something very specific that I'm not actually permitted to say currently. You have rolled?
Wait, like I have that thing where I have to tell you beforehand that I want to take 10.
No. If you want to, you can automatically take a 10 on things.
Yeah.
That includes computers.
Computers, craft, disable device, and knowledge law.
So Waylon has a feat that permits him to take a 10 on some of his basic skills that do not permit the taking of a 10. I think, and this has to do with skills that if you're distracted under pressure, you're not typically allowed to do so. And so that saves your bacon.
Nice.
And you get through.
That'll do.
So you're like,
oh my God.
Nailed it. Press the button and like and the door just like the little bar turns green, and you're able to push it open now.
Got this.
All right. I opened it up, and I'm now.
Waylon knows that if he's going to swipe himself through further doors, you will have to repeat that process for each door.
Sounds good.
Fair enough.
And you're good. So you open the door, close the door, and then you're now on an external staircase.
Before I close the door, I put the stupid faceplate back on the thing.
Cool. Fair.
I also check to see if I need to swipe to get back in the building from the outside.
So interestingly enough, that is a concern, but you do not because they don't want people locked on roofs. This isn't fucking hang.
Yeah, really.
Cool.
Or like roof.
If it was, you could always just jump off and aim for the bushes.
I mean, let's be clear. I have the squirrel suit anyway, and I would have just put duct tape over the fucking lock, but I just needed to make sure.
Could have shot it. If it was Star Wars, you would either open it or close it, depending on what you needed.
Right. Depending on what do you call it? Plot convenience.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm on the roof. I walk over. I am going to take my time and using his instructions, get his thing all properly set up and whatnot.
Sweet.
I imagine that I had schematics and stuff that I studied on the plane over here.
Yeah, I mean, you had satellite imagery, so you know what you need to take off or where you need to jack them into.
Okay.
And I get that cool moment where like my face is lit from below, and I say, "I'm in."
Yep. And so now you actually, bro, someone walks over while you're sort of standing in front of your locker, and they're like,
"Oh, I was gonna say, I'm not just standing there.
Right,
I sit down and I start fiddling with my phone. Like I take my shoes off, like as I'm doing. Like I'm slowly, disrobing, so to speak. But I'm fucking around at the same time, like messing around my phone. Like I call over one of the coworkers that I'm like, "Yo, check this out," and like show them like a new German meme that I found. Like, I'm purposely wasting time.
Tom, as soon as I'm done jacking Julio in, I find myself a corner on the tower that faces the building, and just set myself up with my rifle so that I have a line of sight on what I need to.
I love it.
And that's essentially where I am at.
Yeah, I was even gonna say I'm not just staring at the locker like a fucking mindless drone. Like, please open.
Yeah, you suddenly become a sim for a moment.
Someone walks up to chat with you for a bit, just like asking about. They actually asked like, so are you excited to test out the new T-130?
Heck yeah, I am.
You go, wow, I mean, I expect there won't be anything wrong with the test. We might have to shut it down early if we go over speed, but I'm glad you're enthusiastic. Give me a bluff roll.
Sure.
Yeah, you're fine. They think you're a little weird because you're excited to test relatively dangerous train, but they know there's no real danger because they'll shut it down in advance.
Yeah. Well, I figured like on the way over, he would have spent some time brushing up on like the train itself and how fast he can go, and like if it has like nickname to it or anything, so he could refer to it by said nicknames and stuff. So he's like, why wouldn't you be excited to test this train? Like it's like it's literally the world's fastest train, and to be part of something that big on such a global scale, like we'll be in history books.
He nods. He goes, yeah, T130, different production lines. So we'll see. Hopefully, gets commercial access, but
Yeah, of course.
I get it. He sort of walks off because he's kind of in a hurry anyway.
Yeah.
You get into your locker. You begin actually changing into your clothes, and you notice that there is an envelope that has been placed in your locker, and it looks like it's just sort of like catty-cornered on like the top shelf riser thing. And you see that what looks to be a woman's lipstick, as if she had kissed the envelope, and is on the top of your locker.
Hot.
Oh, interesting. All right, so I make sure no one's really paying attention to what I'm doing, and I open it while keeping my hands inside the locker in case like someone tries to read it over my shoulder or something.
You open it up, and it says, "Dear Bruno, I know what you've been thinking. It's been occurring to me too, but I've simply decided that we must be together. I won't allow this to end. I'm going to talk to you tonight." And it is signed Annalise B.
Okay. I sub-vocalize the fact that I got a weird envelope with lipstick on it, and I read the message over.
Oh, you dog.
Like either Bruno's a player or this is some sort of corporate thing, like espionage type thing that he was already a part of. Because he said, "I won't allow this to end." We don't know if it's a romantic thing or not. He could be a double agent for all we know.
I just got him in chat since we have it for future.
Gotcha.
Quentin says, "I will see if I can pull up Annalise's company profile and give you her photo so you can avoid her like the fucking plague."
Well, depends on how hot she is. I'm like just kidding.
And just be like, hey, I'm covering for Bruno today, and I just noticed that.
Yeah, I'm Bruno's twin. I'm B Bruno.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested.
My name is B. Bruno.
B. Bruno.
You grab your shit. You do your thing. Israel, you're now on the tower. You actually have a pretty good view of the path between Q6 and Q4. Q4 actually, there's trains that drive around in there, and so there's it looks like a propeller. There's a little turntable in the center where trains can drive back and forth. There's a little connection point that sort of brings it over to Thyssenkrupp Allee, which has a test train track on it, and so you can't really see from the roof, but the building is actually fairly spacious in terms of it being open for trains to come and go and large glass windows and things, but the roof is solid.
Okay.
Gotcha. How many turntables are there?
There's just the one in Q4.
I was hoping there was a second one and a microphone.
Nope. And such, what you would call it. Sweet, you are able to head yourself on over. Julio, you're in the computer system. What are you doing? Are you tooling around? Are you looking for shit? Are you fucking shit up? Or are you just
I am most definitely not fucking shit up. I am trying to be as inconspicuous as I possibly can. And I am going to look at any locks that might lead to where the target might be, and adding our good friend Michael to the fingerprint database.
Cool. You successfully added the his fingerprints. That's not something I'm going to make you roll for. However, if you would not mind giving me get another computer's roll, you can sort of just do some digging to see if you can find out where the key cards are.
That's going to be a 16.
Sweet. You roll your 16. You do see that There are a few files that are labeled actually like the Shanghai Maglev like operating system, and sort of like there's a variety of manuals and procedures documents. It's going to spend some time for you to like dig through that, see if you can find anything specific on where the key cards are currently housed. But you did find that file, so it's a potential of operational relevance.
Yeah. I'm going to let my companions know of what I have found.
Nice.
Quentin says, actually share that file over our channel. I'll see if I can have a few of our analysts dive into it and assist.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and do that.
And they're getting on it. Israel, you are taking just a look, and you see there are people moving back and forth between Q4 and the test track on the ThyssenKrupp Ballet, whatever, how you pronounce that shit. You see that Q7 is actually like a glass kind of an office building. Q5, you don't know what the bollocks is, but you actually begin to see as Michael walks himself over to Q4 and begins to start his shift.
I make a note of the fact that things are moving along. No issues. I look back to make sure that nothing is going on behind me, and that the box did not like turn into an octopus and walk off, and continue my watching of things.
Thus far, there are no octopi interfering with your mission, and you see that Michael goes ahead and enters the building. At this point in time, Quentin comes over the speaker and says, I have found information on Annalise. She is an engineer that works on the plants. I see nothing in her background or financial records that indicates any kind of espionage or issues. This plant is just in our targets, unfortunately, because they happen to have a key card that we need. It does appear as though she's been written up, and this is hilarious, for the repeated romantic pursuit of Bruno Schmidt. So
you have a file picture for her?
I will send it over. And it's a relatively attractive blonde-haired gal with blue eyes.
Bruno has a stalker.
Standard German fare, but for whatever reason, it appears that Bruno's not interested.
Maybe he's just not into the ladies.
Yeah, or she just has a detestable stalker's personality that's he's incapable of coping with. But
true, he's
uninterested.
So, in that fact, once you told me that, is there a supervisor about? Like, I asked Waylon, like, can he hack into the roster list and see if there's any supervisors around?
Waylon, give me a computer roll.
You got it. Oh my god, why am I rolling so terrible today? It's going to be a 13.
13 still good enough. You see there is one supervisor on shift for the overnight on which is like Wednesday morning their time.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
And my character's typically on the overnight shifts, right? Like he's typically daytime?
No, it's typically nighttime. They wouldn't give you someone that wouldn't be there.
Okay. Because I want to approach the dude and nip it in the bud now so she doesn't blow my cover later. But I'm not how sure if the supervisor would even know who the hell I am. Like, if I'm just a faceless drone to them, or I don't want to try and get rid of her and then get myself in trouble with the supervisor.
Mm-hmm. Den Mother comes over the speaker and says, if you tattle on Annalise, there's a chance that he drags you and her to HR right now and puts you under further scrutiny and blows the mission, because a love letter like that's a fairly steep complication in an HR sort of world.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, I'll use it as a trump card. If she approaches me and recognizes that I'm not Bruno, I'll just say then I'll bring the letter to HR and get her fired.
No, it says from a tactical and sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No, I'll just say hopefully that'll buy me enough time to complete the mission before she can rat me out.
Noah says from a tactical and analytics perspective, we have two courses of action. One, you molest her in the good name of global security because she's here and might have access to the key card. I think that's extraordinarily risky and do not advise.
Definitely not.
Our safer course of action is for Slynock to continue surveying Q4 if he happens to see Annalise on site to give us a heads up, and for us to avoid her, like,
the plague?
detriment to the mission that she is.
I mean, I'll jump her bones if I have to, but I prefer not to do, that on the mission with all of you in my ear.
Well, I'm just saying, you catch more flies with honey,
It's true. All right, so
Except
I
we do not
continue
want
making my way.
flies. We want keys.
Fair enough.
All right, so I start making my way to Q4. I continue making my way to Q4.
Great. You stroll on over. You lose sight of him as he walks deeper into the building. At this point in time, it occurs to you that you do not know where to go, so you would like to ask for the specific blueprints and access in terms of where the keys are, if you can get them. If not, if you can't get that right away, you're gonna have to just actually pretend to perform your job.
So
Okay, so are you talking to me or Alexander?
You.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, real quick, we are at 2 hours 15 minutes. This would be normally a time where we take our 15 to 20 minute intermission before we get into the nitty gritty of the mission. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm fine with taking the break now.
Sounds good to me.
Sweet.
All right, so it is 3:42. At 4 o'clock, we will go back live.
Sounds good.
All right. See you all soon.
Cool. We're
1, live.
Welcome back, folks. In case you're just joining in, this is our 3B Radio actual play podcast. Specifically, we are this episode is. Before I continue, what the bollocks is going on with your camera, dude?
No
Okay.
idea.
Did it just fall over?
I want to say yes.
All right. Well, it seems to have stabilized, for which we are grateful. Welcome back, folks. This is, in case you're just tuning in, our inaugural, our first recurring episode of Mutants and Masterminds Nightfall, a 3B radio production. We've got, if you're looking at your computer screen, I'm our GM, Tom. To the top right, we have Julio, who's playing Jackrabbit, also known as Waylon Lee. Bottom right, we have our wonderful, oftentimes GM, but in this case, an actual player, Synok, or Alexander Volkomalat. Also, Israel, your camera is massive in the stream. Just a heads up. I can see the bottom, the corner of your face. Below me, we have my brother Joe, who's playing 11, also known as Michael Murillo. We paused during the middle of our heroes infiltrating a manufacturing corporation that is responsible for engineering the world's fastest train, and our heroes are here attempting to retrieve a key card specifically for the world's fastest train, known as the Shanghai Maglev, which will allow them to infiltrate one of the trains for the purpose of a next mission that will be coming after this one. And if you haven't seen the remainder of the episode at some point in time, we highly encourage you to go back and watch it, because things will make better sense. Bro, you have just entered work, and you are waiting on information in terms of where the key cards are, which gives us a great time for our wonderful hero, Waylon Lee, to perform another roll to see if he can find the locations of those key cards.
Sounds good to me.
I'm on it.
Sweet.
For the love of God.
You find a file that is the protocol specifically for the key cards that are individually printed and are designed to house the entrance into the electronics compartment of the Shanghai Maglev train. You now have to spend time reading through it because some jerk face uploaded a PDF that was not indexable.
Oh.
It is a 40-page document that you are now scurrying through.
Does that mother have any analysts that can do this on the back end, like Mechanical Turk style?
Yeah. Den Mother says, yes, we'll get you over to Quentin's team. We have 2 analysts dedicating their time solely to this mission. We'll get it over to them. At this point in time, you hear coming from directly behind your van.
Shit, okay. I pop open the back door.
You see that there is a German police car parked directly behind you. Give me, actually, I have your rolls. I will check the rolls. And actually, you happen to notice that the car actually says something like Transit Authority on it. So it's like Essen, Germany. It's like Essen Police Departments in German. Mm-hmm. And then it says Transit Authority. And someone's deep on the horn behind you.
So it's the meter reader type, or meter cops?
Remember, this is a train station. So Transit Authority could mean something different here.
That's true.
Shit. I don't speak German. Okay. I'll go up to the car, the police car, and
the officer actually gets out and kind of like meets you. It's not like he's just hanging in his car.
Okay. So I go up to him. I don't actually say anything. I just go.
The officer says something in German, which you do not understand, and then you have Noah repeat back to you in your headset. This gentleman is saying that you are not supposed to be parked here if you're going to be performing service. Occasionally, they get large loading trucks through here, and you're blocking part of the essential area of the road. He requires you to pull up and move into a different area.
Okay.
I will now require a bluff roll because he's telling you the German that you need to say in response, and he's suggesting that you say so. And he tells you essentially in German, it's not a problem. Give yourself a few minutes to sort of close down, move up into a parking space. Not a problem.
Okay.
And this will be a bluff roll. So your bluff stats is on your tab.
Yeah, it's 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay. Here goes. Yeah. Could be worse.
Sure, it definitely could have been worse.
Oh my god.
It's a tie. This is an officer, so I assume he has a point
At least
a point in this stuff. He gives you an eyebrow raise and asks you another question in German, which Noah now begins translating immediately. And he says, "What are you doing out here this late?"
I say sorry, no comprehend very well. Immigrant.
You say this in English?
Yeah. No German. No
He
Deutsch.
Turns his hand sideways. He says, "I don't understand." In English, he says, "I don't understand why Essen Electric and Gas would hire an English-speaking service technician." But,
hey man,
okay.
There's a labor shortage. Times are tough. And, they had to hire out a little bit. I've always wanted to live in Germany. It's a wonderful place, and just trying to make my way in the world.
He looks at you and says, "What made you interested in Germany?"
It's such a wonderful country.
Specifically Essen.
The beer, actually, mostly. Beers over here is fantastic.
Noah whispers in your ear, "For God's sake, man, tell him you work on gas and electric, and so this was the best place to get a job."
And, I also work in gas and electric, and it's the best place to get a job.
He goes, "Oh, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. Give me one more bluff to see where this is going."
Oh, God. Hey, okay, not terrible.
He goes, "All right, it's just, if you can pull over to one of those spaces over there, you'll just be out of the way. Since we do get a large 18-wheeler come through here, you won't be blocking the way."
Sure thing, sir. You got it. I apologize for this is how we do it over in stateside. So
he laughs and says, "Yes, I don't doubt that. Have a good safe. Make sure you light up your work area so this way no one comes down the street. Occasionally we get folks here assuming that things are empty, and we don't want you to. We want to have to fill out an accident report." So
you got it, Chief. No worries at all.
He nods, gets back in his car, and drives off.
I get back in the van. I go.
Jeez.
Do you know who your character is? I don't know if anyone watches the Mission Impossible movie series. There's a character, Benji.
Yeah.
Benji's played by, and I can't remember his name. He's fucking in a million things. But,
shit, I'm blanking out on his name right now too. And I love his movies.
You talking about the Ving Rhames character?
He's Benji in Mission Impossible.
He's also the main character in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah. His name is Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. Yeah, that's it.
Your character reminds me of Simon Pegg because in the later Mission Impossible movies, Benji's character becomes like an actual certified, qualified field agent, and even the actor gets into really good shape. He starts doing all of his own stunts, and like Benji's in a few fights where he fucks a few people up, but he's still like entry-level field agent with a massive tech background. That's exactly like. Granted, you're from Florida, his character British, but like I'm getting that vibe from you. He always like walks into like a room and goes, "Oh my God, that was crazy." After he does some really cool shit.
I really hope that doesn't happen again.
Noah says, "Actually, that was pretty well done." I mean, if I was that cop and I was genuinely suspicious of you, and you came up with that Floridian thick ass accent, I would say, "There's no way. There's no way this man's evil or doing something, because who the fuck would send a spy with that accent?"
If someone comes up to you with a Florida accent and you say, "No way, that man's evil," then you don't know nothing about Florida, for.
Noah dies laughing. And he literally mutes himself because he can't stop laughing. And yeah, at this point, I mean, Alexander, you pretty much saw all of that go down. You know.
What I don't tell him, and what I will never tell him, is that I had lined up to trank that officer in the event that anything went poorly.
I knew it. The entire time I was like, Alex, please don't pop the cop. Don't pop the cop. Do not pop the cop.
And it wouldn't have been a warning either. Waylon would have been talking to him. The cop would have gone, Rick! and fallen over.
Fantastic. At this point, Alexander, your phone rings, and it shouldn't ring because it's off, but your phone still vibrates in your pocket. You can put it through to your headset, but your phone is actually ringing.
When I do.
My son, how is mission? All going well? What brings you to Germany?
For the record, I knew as soon as it rung when it was off that it was Papa.
My boy, has something happened to your voice?
Papa, stealth parameters. Phone is off. I contact you when mission done.
When family is family, phone is never off, my son.
I know better.
Is problem to talk now?
Only if I get caught.
Well, don't get caught, I trained you better. My son, it says you are in train manufacturing plant. Is accurate?
This accurate? I do not think Eclipse will appreciate you, spying on mission.
Well, spies don't like spying. It is biggest conundrum. Nevertheless, could you get baby Nikolai a model train? He likes this fast one.
I will ask Mannequin to get it.
Mannequin is with you? Interesting sort. Bring trouble, but highly trained. Is problem, but not problem. Depends. Will you visit
depends.
the shop?
I ask him to visit gift shop. I am not dressed appropriately.
Do your best. I expect model train.
Yes, Pop.
Yeah, have good mission. Don't die. Hangs up.
Jesus Christ.
For those of you on Discord, which means our Patreons as well as the current cast, I just put up a Hero Forge version of Psynock so you guys can see what he looks like when he's dressed and he's got his pretty rifle out.
I want to see that. 3B. I am not finding it immediately, and I'm not going to bend.
Those with really good eyesight can see what 11 looks like. If you look in the bottom left corner of the screen.
There you go.
So I continue my thing, and I say, and I do message over to Michael. Is there a gift shop in building?
I'm not sure. Jackrabbit, is there a gift shop near me?
Pull out my cell phone and I Google Maps it.
Fuck.
He totally understands the fact that there is no need to
hack it. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's aware of the website. Let me Google that for you, but it's fucking.
It is, but I'm not that rude.
Yeah, it's in Q1 actually. Essentially, visitors, if they want to stop at a gift shop, there is a gift shop for they actually do corporate tours, they do executive tours of potential investors. So there is a gift shop. It's not open because it's fucking 2 a.m.
Oh, I still walking over there anyway. I don't give a fuck.
No. After mission, please model train.
Oh, we don't know where the key cards are anyway at the moment, so I'm not technically going off mission by going there now.
But you would have had way away from where you need to be. I wouldn't do it. You're fucking just walking across the campus for no bloody reason. Time though.
My character's like, no. I didn't mean right this second.
At this point in time, you have an analyst come on and they go, "Hey, started breaking over the channel. We have the location of the key cards. On page 39 of that horrible PDF document, there happened to be a URL that I had to type in manually into a web browser, which then brought me to a secure portal, which I will now send over to you, Jackrabbit, so you can crack into and find the locations of the key cards."
You are the man.
It comes up on your screen momentarily later. And there is a web portal that you have to sort of essentially break into using username and login, and will then give you the locations of the key card as they stand.
All right. I try a very simple SQL injection.
Roll for it. Or do you want to take a 10?
I'm going to take a 10 on this,
All right.
which would be a 20.
And it gets you in. You are suddenly in. It's a very simple interface. It's literally like SM, like KY number 1 is actually locked up in the Q10 building, and it's sort of like under like executive lock and key because it belongs to the CEO.
Cool.
It's more of a showpiece than in use. If that thing goes missing, it'll be problems.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
if a SQL injection worked, that basically means that I have every password that has ever been used to access this thing. So I'm going to look for the CEO's password.
So when in this game, when you hack into something and you hack into it well and you go over a certain threshold of number, that's basically what happens anyway. You get like all future rolls and things. So you can find the CEO's password for what he uses to log into this portal. It's now a matter of does he use that password when he logs into everything else company-wide, if you want to access the shit. If he's a smart man and uses multiple passwords, well, that's a different story. But you have his password for this, absolutely. You can check his login history. You can see that he checks in on his key card fairly regularly. It's like probably a part of like a full security plan that he has to adhere to. But yeah, you're able to see like his entry data, his login data, when he's moved the key card, etc.
Excellent. Is there any recent logins?
He logged in last week. He essentially opened his. He logged in. He entered that his key card had been restored to his vault in his office, and he had removed it only because they needed 2 key cards in order to perform like a swap of machinery between 2 trains. So they opened up one key card for one train, another key card for another train. They swapped machineries, basically like just taking demo machinery out of one train and putting it into a new thing for actual testing. And then he put it back and he locked it up.
Excellent. All right, cool. I'll relay this information, and what else can I do with this?
These passwords are alphanumeric, so essentially it's like a series of letters, numbers, and like $sign type shits. So just if there's any other alphanumeric CEO password that comes up, you can try this again to see if you can get your information. The CEO also has activity on when the other key cards are moved. So when you log in with him, you have full visibility over all of their key card information. So you're able to sort of, if you want to, log out, log back in, and see where the other key cards are that are off premise, if necessary. You're also.
Is there anyone? Do I know if there's anyone that has logged in to get in recently, as in like within today?
The key card that is secured in Q4 routinely moves from one person's hands to another person's hands, and they log that transition of who has it. There is a senior engineer in Q4 who currently has the key card logged out, as is the role for the senior engineer. So that's on this person currently. You're about to log out, and you see like key card 3 is actually in Shanghai, and that makes perfect sense because that's where the
train is.
And then key card 4 is in a basically Fort Knox-like financial institution in a lockbox, like a safety deposit box. And that's basically kept there in case anything happens to the key cards. They need to extract one soon. They can sort of pull out the master key card for making another copy, etc. And you're about to log out, and you see there's a 5th entry. There is not a 5th key card, but there is a key card printer located in Q4. So if another one needs to be made, you would have to grab a key card, put it into one part of that machine, and then it would print out another key card from the second part of that machine. But it does require a key card to print a new key card.
If we are going to do this, we should get seal of approval.
What, to print a new key card?
No. As in, he said specifically he wanted mission to be done certain way.
Yeah.
Let us show him we can do it certain way. Perhaps mission bonus.
Works for me. I'm More than happy to steal the first key, print his copy, and return it.
Excellent.
All right. So where's the senior engineer with this key card currently?
Sorry, that was me whistling the Jeopardy theme, but it actually echoed through other people's headsets, and for that I apologize.
Oh, I don't know if you heard. I was doing the cricket sound effect.
Oh, got it. It wasn't an echo.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the question you folks have. Now it's who you're going to ask or what system you're going to look at.
Well, didn't Jackrabbit figure out where he was?
Well, I know where he's been.
Gotcha.
Right. You know when the changing of the guard happens. The changing of the guard happens at basically 5 a.m. So at this point in time, it's probably like 2 a.m. So you have 3 hours before that key card gets logged and transferred. You folks want to get the fuck off premises. You want to be dicking around for 3 hours, nor do you want to be undercover for 3 hours. That just increases risk.
Do we have a name for the senior engineer that signed the card out?
You do. It is, nope, that's 2. It's Ansama Bergman.
All right. Can we get a picture of Ansama Bergman?
Yes. She has darker brown hair and brown eyes. I just tossed her name into the chat for Roll20.
Thank you.
You pull up her profile, and you see that she is actually involved in the testing of the T-130 today. And so chances are she'll be at the T-130, which is outside of Q4, at the Thurston Alley. And so you'd have to essentially walk over to like just below where Q6 is on that map, meet her, bag her key, get back to Q4, do the reprinting, get the key card back to her without her noticing it was gone.
I'm gonna try a little bit more social engineering. I'm gonna look her up on, whatever the equivalent of Facebook is on here. Just like stalk her social media and see if there's any, like she has kids. If like there's anything that can be used for that.
Good.
Sure.
Her?
So what?
And I'm just curious why you want to know her kid information.
In case we have to distract her or something like that, because we can easily be like, hey, babysitter, other parents, anything like, hey, we need you here. The kid has like, I don't know, a cold.
I like it. Okay.
I started strolling towards Q6.
I rolled a 2 out of a D2, so Facebook still exists. They've gotten through the recent hack and the recent allegation drama, and they're still going strong with
This is really a dystopian future if Facebook still exists.
At this point in time, they probably have like 1.5 billion users. A new sort of thing popped up like Instagram, but Facebook sort of quickly gained ownership of it, and they continue their reign over social media.
Oh God!
It's actually called Facebook too.
No, it's probably like let's see. They got WhatsApp, they got Instagram. You need a snappy name.
It's called Big Brother.
It's called Now Meet. Sweet. So yeah, you get her information. It's not hard to come by. It's just a matter of like getting into the social media profile, which, as we all know nowadays, is quite simple. Hacks. That being said, yeah, she has a husband. Her husband actually works sort of at a different manufacturing plant for like cell phones that's like 2 miles down the road. She has 2 kids. All 3 of those individuals should be safely in their beds at the moment, since it's like 2 in the morning though. But her husband's name. Her husband is named. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. Eckhard, and has the same last name.
Gotcha.
So if you like need to fake a phone call by Eckhart or something like this to get away from something, it's feasible.
Cool. So like I said, I started strolling towards Q6 to see if I bump into her.
Yep. She's on that street that's like slightly to the west of Q6. Like that little mini street, which is called an alley on this map.
Yeah. Did I actually see her, or?
I mean, that's the location in which she typically works.
All right, so
You do have a man on a roof with a scope that can see if he sees her.
I do, in fact.
I would love it if you'd roll for it. Good old notice roll, or whatever the hell the equivalent is in this game. How much I'm checking. I will let you use notice or search. I think, one's intelligence-based, one's wisdom-based, whichever you have a higher point in. My lord, you roll like ass today.
Yep, that'll be a total of 9. Although, it occurs to me, I'm going to take a 10 and take my time to search for the person.
Okay, so that goes to...
Because I forgot that this is a thing that can be done in this game.
It's a thing that can be done, just there has to be a skill that you can take a 10 and certain skills you can't.
Right.
And there cannot be negative ramifications if you should fail under that.
Right.
So, like, if you didn't perform this task and, etc. You actually do not see her. 16 is a fairly good roll, so it might just be that she's not visible. You do have full view of a Shanghai Lev train that's on the ThyssenKrupp alley area over there. It's a shortened train. Typically, they have 8 cars. This actually only has 3, which is the conductor sort of car that also doubles as a luxury cabin. It's sort of split down the middle in terms of how it's divided internally.
Okay.
There is the electronics car, and behind it, there's sort of like the machine engine car. The electronics car is the middle one. You've given a full sort of look-see over all 3 cars. You do not see her at the present moment. I'll give you an opportunity to make a second roll just to sort of look over the entire surrounding areas if she's like in the field somewhere else. Like there are like machines and things like that, little alcoves and shit. So if you want to give it'll take you a little bit of time, but if you want to give us another roll, and I'll let you know in a moment if you succeed or happen to spot her, we can do that too.
Okay, I will actually take a roll on the second one.
Cool.
Yeah, buddy.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
All right. Yeah. But that's taking a little bit of time, so I'll let you know how that goes in a bit. In the meantime, we have a gentleman who has access to all of the computer functions, so if you want to do anything as well. If not, we will head on over to Michael, just because you're walking over.
I think I'm good.
Awesome. All right, bro. I will take a search roll from you.
Yes, sir. Search.
You are looking for, as you walk from Q4 to that sort of alleyway over there. It's an alley. I'm going to call it Train Alley from now on, just so we know what we're talking about. You start walking over to Train Alley, and you just don't see her, but you know confidently it's because she's just not in your visual range. Like, you just don't see her. She could be in the electronics car. She could be near the machine car, which has room to walk around in, but less so. Mm-hmm. She could also be on the other side of the bloody train, which would put you in Sinnock's blind spot.
Gotcha. Is there anybody walking around?
Yeah, there's I'd say 10 to 12 folks that are sort of walking around, like a few engineers. There's probably a few folks that are like 1 or 2 security people. There's probably a few folks that are just data geeks that are analyzing shit and all that. But it's for a busy engineering sort of bay, lightly populated. The whole train, each car is probably I don't know, I'm throwing a guess out there, but 100. I mean, that's probably too much. 80 feet long. So it's a large stretch of land for 16 people to sort of be spread over.
Nice. Cool.
80 feet's probably way too big. I don't know how long a train car is, but it's a fucking long.
I don't know. I know visually how long they are. I just don't know actually how long they are.
It's a fair bit of space, is what we're saying.
U.S. modern passenger cars are typically 85 feet long. I nailed it.
Wow.
Which is weird. I'm shit with distances. But yeah, there's a few people around. And again, she could totally be in the electronics car right now.
Yeah.
At this point, Quentin says, hey, Waylon, I'm going to send you a bit of code. Why don't you go ahead and see if you can get into the internal security system of that train and see if she's inside.
You got it.
And you just go ahead and hit send, and just like a little micro program with some code in it just sort of pops over. You download it. It's an exe file, and you can run it when necessary.
And after that, downloading exes, man, that's so unsafe. But it comes from Eclipse, so
Yeah. You pop it, you download it. It basically takes a few seconds for it to be installed. You run it, and it sort of handshakes from the building security over to the train security, which thankfully there is an avenue to get from one to the other.
nice.
And give me a computer roll to perform the actual labor required to get into it.
19.
All right, you're in.
I'm in.
You have nice. You know what? Next time I'm going to go. Okay, you've got it, and I'll let you say you're in. You have the sort of a mechanism to run it. You have cameras throughout the entire train, including all 3 cars. And you also have the analytics systems that are sort of providing feedback to the driver and the internal computer on essentially status. So in front of you, essentially you have cameras, diagnostics, and analytics, as well as like drive chain control. So you have 4 things that you're able to mess with.
All right. So I'm gonna look into cameras.
Cameras. Sorry, that was just accent. Go for it. You look at the cameras. You see that the conductor's half of the first car is empty. The luxury car actually has like one egghead doing egghead things, just sort of like seated on one of the luxury cars, like a laptop. Basically, they're just doing whatever their job is. They're like, if I'm going to fucking do work on a luxury train, I'm going to do it in the luxury cabin.
Good man.
Which is exactly what that is a fairly realistic concept there.
Yeah.
The middle car is the electronics car, and you do see that and Selma Bergman is inside of the electronics car right now with an engineer.
I will relate the information to Psynock.
Okay.
And you guys are an open channel, so I'm assuming that
Everybody really.
Yeah.
Heard. I start looking for the train target.
There's no windows in the electronics car, so you know where she is. You just don't know. You can't get in there.
Okay.
You can't see it, rather.
All right, so I start walking towards the electronics car.
Sweet. You see, like, a security guy looks at you, looks at your badge, and kind of looks away. Like, you don't belong near the electronics car, but like, you also you have the clearance to be near it. So
Yeah. Cool. I stroll on in.
You can't go in. You have the security to be near it. You can't. You're not.
I see. I walk over to the guard.
Sure. It is a gentleman named Faramund Hall.
I'm like, good morning, sir.
He looks at you and says, Mr. Schmidt. That was not the right accent for a German. Mr. Schmidt, sir. No. He just says, hello, Mr. Schmidt.
Good morning.
I think we gave it 2 tries and we're like,
yeah.
Nah.
We're done.
I went from Russian to Hitler in a matter of seconds, and I never want to go that direction, so we're just retreating quietly.
Like, would you happen to know if Madame Bergman's inside the train?
I do. I think she's slated to be there for, probably the whole night. There's a few issues with some of the components reporting back the new land speeds, and he looks at his watch. You're probably gonna have a real quiet day because I don't think this thing's ready to hit the track yet.
Well, that's a shame. I was looking forward to driving.
He laughs. Yeah. It's a trip.
Would there be any way I'd be allowed inside to speak with her for a moment? I mean, I don't want to risk your job by letting me through without clearance, but I also don't want to wait 5 hours to talk to her. I can bribe you with a jelly, and I shake the box at him.
I tell you what, she said not to be disturbed, but if I can have a jelly, I will ping her inside of the electronics room and let her know that one of the senior conductors wishes to speak with her.
Sure.
Is the matter urgent? Because if I tell her it's urgent, it's more likely to have her bring herself out here.
It's not super urgent. I mean, I just wanted to talk to her about, the tests and thank her for being allowed to be one of the testees and, offer her a jelly and then be on my way.
All right. Give me a bluff roll.
Sure. God, I roll like crap.
At this point in time, I will point out, without saying whether you passed or failed, that we are playing until 5 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. 5:30ish. And so, we're 5 o'clock, we're kind of playing it by ear. So there's not a lot of time left in this session.
I was going to use a hero point then.
Hey!
That'll do. I'm like, hey, buddy, how about I give you a Boston cream as well?
That would bribe me.
It's so funny, actually. I just did a /GM roll, which I honestly do way too often by accident, because I mean to be doing this publicly for you folks. But he just rolled a natural one, so he's like, yeah. Actually, I'll look, man. If I'll do without the donut, but since you're offering, let me get that donut. He
Sure.
eats it readily. He says Danka,
Mhm.
and he gets on the line and says, hey, Ansama, we have one of the drivers out here. He winks at you and goes, I think he has questions about whether the new readings on land speed are going to affect the test. He anticipates that we're not going to be doing the test tonight, but he kind of feels like he's going to be sticking around and perhaps going late into the morning. And so he just wants to go ahead and prepare the adjustments for his control schematics as necessary. So he's ready to go the moment we're ready to go, and there's not a further delay on his side. You hear someone come over the speaker and says, Jesus fucking Christ, at least someone knows how to do their job around here and is efficient. Yes, I'll be right out.
I'm like, bro, I give him a glazed as a third donut.
All right, and this guy's shitting himself into a coma.
No, I'm giving him non-shitting donuts.
Is the first one a shitty donut or no?
No, none of them are shitty donuts.
All right, fair enough.
I have non-shitty and shitty.
This is gross, but yes, I get. I precisely understand your meaning.
Like, some of them are actual rewards. Some of them are like, go to the bathroom and get away from me. But I can't poison the entire fucking sector because everyone's gonna be in the bathroom. It's like, might as well just stay here. It's like if I have to pickpocket or something with like 8 people around, and I send everyone to the bathroom, and there's still 8 people around. It's just change of scenery.
Yep. All right. So she walks on out. She looks at you.
I basically regurgitate what he just said.
She nods. So at this point in time, you realize, you actually look at her hip, and there's a bullet in her left pocket, and you know this because you rolled well on your rolls, and I asked you to do 10 rolls earlier.
So when I roll up to her, I go to like say all that, and I said in a way of thanking you for letting me be on this test, and I put the box basically right under her face, so even if she doesn't want one, I'm blocking line of sight to her pocket. Because she can't see physically through the box to her pocket. And I go for the sleight of hand to take it out.
Roll and roll well.
Yep. Where's my skills? Give me a sec.
Yep.
Double checking.
Sleight of hand.
Yep, 6.
Cool.
That'll do. I couldn't possibly have rolled high unless I rolled a nat 20.
Accurate.
It should be known that I'm offering her a shitty box. So, because if she goes back inside and realizes that the key pass is gone, she might get suspicious. If she has to run to the bathroom, then I have time to copy it and get it back to her because she'll probably be fucking crapping her bowels out,
Yep.
She goes.
Cool. So they both rolled a 1 and a 6 respectively.
The guard in her?
Yep, because there's 2 people you had to fool there because you're going to pickpocket someone in front of someone else.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you did
They've probably been working for days and are low on coffee and just like they want to be done.
The key card is now in your hand. And so you have a choice. Exfiltrate with the key card and say la vie, or you go.
Are we going to get that Jimmy copied, bro, and put it back?
Excellent. Anselma says, an excellent, wonderful, pleasure to work with you as well. Thank you for your efficiency. She turns around and she goes to get back into the electronics room.
As in, like, swipe, or as in she's, like, feeling shitty? Because I gave her a shitty donut.
It takes a while for the shitty donut to connect. But she goes back to enter the electronics car, for which the key has just been removed from her.
I mean, I wouldn't have, like, stopped talking to her before she started feeling shitty. I knew she was going to go back in if I walked away.
I mean, it's time for the bowels to work through. Like, it's like, well, yeah,
but I'm saying I would have waited and picked her brain about something else. Like, I would have brought up a different topic or some shit.
She's also... All right, give me another bluff roll, see if you can keep her in front of you. Because, honestly, she's looking to get back into that car as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Do I have another hero point?
No. You have one. You also have a spy point, but that's used for something different.
Yeah, it's for, like, contraptions and stuff.
I
sub-vocalize like Jackrabbit. You can't shut down the power to that train, can you?
I can do my very best.
Well, you got about 10 seconds.
Security, diagnostics, analytics, drive control. I have security, diagnostics, analytics, drive control. I imagine in security there might be something that I can use.
Yeah. I mean, give it a shot. I'm gonna
set off the platform light so that we have to vacate the premises for now.
It's an open mic, is it right?
Yeah.
If you have access to security, you have access to run drill. Run fire drill.
There you go.
Yeah. Sounds good.
If nothing else, it will force them to go to different compartment to try and find out where error is happening.
All right, fire alarm tripping right now. That's going to be a 21.
Nice.
And the fire alarm on the train goes off. So she's like... You also notice she turns around and she has her hand as if to knock on the door to be let back in.
Oh, crap. Damn it.
I secretly rolled to see whether she would knock to be let back in, whether she would try to use the key to get herself back in, or whether she would have bowel effects immediately rather than a natural point in time. And it was somewhere in the middle where she was going to knock to get back in rather than just be... So she's like... She goes, oh, fucking hell, what did you press in there? And the guard goes, ma'am, sorry, it is a fire alarm. You do have to evac and bring on the fire control system team in order to determine whether there is an internal danger. She goes, I know, I'm just not happy about it. It's fine.
Jackrabbit, I'm sure you know already, but make it look like fire alarm was tripped by internal fault, yes?
Oh, absolutely.
I do one of these things where I stick on my arm and I'm like, Madame, if I may accompany you, I believe I have a dark roast that may smooth this transgression over a bit.
And she looks at you and she goes, I have no time for coughing. I'm now set back a lot in my schedule. I'm going to actually go meet with the FCS team. I will return.
Fair enough.
She goes off.
Do I have any tracer type things I could drop on her to make sure I know where she is?
It will require another sleight of hand roll to get it on her, and it'll be an added difficulty because she is actively trying to get as far away from this area as possible.
Right.
So yes, there's risk to drop it on her.
Yeah, we have access to the cameras. I wouldn't even risk
Yeah,
it.
sure. Yeah. Never mind. I was going to say, I would just shake her hand and,
I can just keep an eye on her.
Yeah,
cool.
We'll watch her. You don't need to do everything yourself. We got it.
Fair enough. All right. So I'm like, all right, where do I need to go to copy this key card?
You have to head back to Q4 and via cameras and via Alexander, you see that she's headed to Q6, where there's probably additional teams for that type of thing. Not the northern building of Q6, where the quarters is, the southern building of Q6. As for you, bro, it's in Q4. You know that is in the southern wing of that sort of propeller-shaped building. There's sort of the two tracks, the turntable in the middle, the track that heads to the train alley itself. The southern building is more of the offices for equipment and tech and fabrication of parts. And the fabrication of that key is at the southern end of that propeller for Q4.
Cool. I start making my way over that way. I don't take off running, but I move with a purpose. Let's put it that way.
Cool.
One of my favorite terms that I use on the kids. Please move with a purpose.
as you go in, you head in, you sort of walk along the track for Q4 heading from west to east. You pass the turntable, you're moving to head south, and you hear someone go, Bruno, there you are. In
Oh,
German.
fuck.
Is it the woman?
It's the woman.
I just keep walking. Like, I no sell it. I pretend like I don't even hear her.
She begins to pursue you. She's like probably around, I would say, actually 80 is a good number. She's roughly a train car away from you. She's like 80 feet. So you turn south to head into that southern wing out of her sight, and she's like now moving with an expeditious pace to catch up to you. You know that you just like, if you don't fuck off, like with speed.
Once I'm out of sight of her, I look up. Is there anything I can climb?
You're in a building with a very large ceiling. There's like things like a second level of offices and machine shops for this area. And there's like, if you're in the main area, there's actually like cranes and shit to lift shit onto trains and things like that.
Is there a PA system?
I'm sorry?
Is there a PA
system like to call
Yes,
out?
there is.
Okay. I'm going to. All right. Who speaks German?
I speak German.
Okay, I'm gonna link you to the PA system. Call this lady to Q1 immediately.
Q2, right? The main building?
No, just call her away from where's
Yeah.
Okay.
away
Her
from
name, her
where
name
Mike
is
is.
Annalise B.
What's the last name on Annalise? We did get
It
her
was just a B.
Before
on
you
the
do
note, but we actually got her file.
Give me 1 second before you do that. In the split second, Julio, you think that she should be called to Q7. You're like, wait, buildings, her role, Q7.
Mhm.
Just from because you've previously looked at schematics, you've like looked at different things.
What's Q7?
You have seconds to make this decision.
Just call her to Q7. Report immediately to Q7. Like, don't give too many details.
Okay. So I say her name. Attention, Annalise. Police report to Q7. You are required in the office.
Julio, you pan through cameras. You find her in the center of Q4. She stops. She's like scratching her head.
Even if she doesn't actually go to Q7, just the fact that she stops to think should give Mike enough time to get out of there.
Bro, on your left, you have a staircase that heads up to a second floor. It's an open air environment. There's machine shops. There's high visibility. There's even a grating in the floor. So if you start walking just like along the catwalk, she can look up and see through the floor and see you. There are machine shops to dive into. There's essentially a stack of cargo containers that's like on the right side of where you're at. There are a few offices on the right side as well. You have a few seconds to make this decision.
If I just keep going straight, like, where does that put me?
If you keep going straight, that actually takes you toward the fabrication place. But you're like, this is a long building. She'll spot you a mile away. Walking straight is the worst thing you can do.
Well, she has to turn the corner, doesn't she?
She has to turn the corner, yeah. I mean, if you like haul ass, you're still not going to make it to the end of where you need to go.
All right, so I'll climb up the containers then.
All right, so you're gonna hit the container.
You said it was like cargo containers, right?
They're cargo containers. They're not open, but they're stacked. So you can like run around them and just sort of like put your back to the wall if you need to.
Yeah, I'll do that. Well, let's see. You want me to make any kind of checks?
Give me a stealth roll to be quiet so she doesn't like know your footsteps. It's I mean like it's a moot point. You're in a fucking train engineering shop. It's not quiet, but don't roll a 1. You're good. Cool. Not a great roll, but you're good.
Yeah.
So you spin around the cargo container, like you see there's another few seconds she's like paused, confused. And then she actually starts moving even quicker to Q4. Specifically to try and catch up to Bruno in a hurry. She stops looking at the open air environment. She looks up the catwalk. She looks down the path. She looks right at the cargo containers, and she actually runs, not walks, toward the cargo containers, passing them, heading into the offices. Which you look and you realize there's actually like a conductor's waiting relaxation area there. Like if you're on call, and she assumes you went there, so she just flew past. You didn't see with the cargo containers, specifically because she thinks that you'll be there.
Fair enough.
You know that she has roughly 30 seconds before she pops out of that room, probably because she couldn't find you. So if you're going to head to that machine shop, you should fucking book it now.
Yeah, I take off. I'm like, someone run a background check on her, make sure she is what she is, because she's coming off kind of sus.
I think that's me.
Yep.
So, can I use knowledge law to start looking into her legally and to see if everything is on the up and up?
What is your overall stat and law?
It's an 8, and or rather, it's oh no, wait, my total modifier is actually much higher than that. Oh wow, I've been just adding 10 to computers. I should be adding 14.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So my law would be a plus 12, and it's one of my skills that I can take 10 whenever.
Give me a computer's roll with a +2, so you're taking 10 to 12, and you're literally looking into like the Essen City Police Department's profile and background on this woman.
16 plus 18. That's gonna be
A whole
34.
lot.
Yeah, because it's I have a plus 14. No, never mind. 16 plus 16, so 32.
You see that this woman has a history of like actual like stalkerish behavior. Like she's bipolar. She's not the responsible type of bipolar that takes her medicine. She has a fixation thing on several different folks, including colleagues in the past. She just thinks she's madly in love, and she's with someone she's probably known for a few days.
I'll pass on the information.
All right, fair enough.
Also, room Q7 is essentially where human resources stuff is. And so you said Q7 because at one point in time when you were doing your rolls earlier, you rolled a 2. The reason why she stopped to think about it and then ran is because that is human resource, and she thinks she's about to be fired because of the letter she left, and so she's rushing to talk to you before she gets hauled out of the building by her ass.
Excellent.
Just background info. So, bro, you have about 30 seconds to hit that machine room.
Yep. Like I said, I take off running.
Cool. You haul ass. You get into the machine shop. Give me a notice roll. Give me a search roll to see if you know where you need to be for this keycard printing.
Sure. I probably do not.
You know that you don't know where the keycard printing is. You have roughly 24 seconds. So
when I grab it, where do I gotta go?
Where does he have to go? So I know where the.
I mean, I assume I'm looking for something that has a keycard slot and a printer attached to it. So that should give me some sort of a bonus.
Where there's just machinery and keycards and printers and workbenches
Gotcha.
Everywhere. So you're looking for the specific place in this machine shop or specific sort of room.
Yeah.
Clearly, you're giving me computer rolls at this point in time just to see how quick you are to find the information he needs, despite the fact that you're no longer hacking. You're essentially doing a computer-based knowledge roll.
That's going to be a 34.
Yeah, that'll do. Actually, you're at a plus 14.
It's a crit 20, so
39.
Jeez.
So you're like, it is directly in front of you. It is the electronic door. You need to jack into it. I'll get you through. This was what you tell. Once you're inside, it'll be the 3D printer at the back, northwest corner.
Well, I run up to it, jack into it.
You run up to it, you fucking slam it in. The moment you slam it, it goes, and it fucking hits green. You fucking.
And I just fucking shoulder through it then and just keep it moving.
Yeah, you close the door behind you, and she's fucking nowhere to be seen. You close the door and you don't see her.
Cool.
This is also a sealed room, so you're good.
They go over to the printer, put the card in.
Well, yeah, you look around, you exactly spot the printer. You walk over and you see there's a place for the key card. There's a place where it prints the key card. And you basically just have to fucking slam that bad boy in.
That's what I do.
You slam it in, and it says, "Please log key card location on a terminal to your left."
All right, I'll turn to my left.
It essentially wants you to log in as a staff member, and you have to do the process of logging the key card's location, logging the fact that it's printing, all that kind of jazz.
Well, these are all the passwords, so that's easy as shit.
Yeah. Does she have any kind of clearance for this, or?
The senior engineer is allowed to print a key card. She does have to log the fact in that same. Remember that you have the CEO's log into the key card sort of a location portal.
Yeah, it's just it's easier to be like, oh yeah, this lady's crazy. She just did some crazy shit, and then have to justify when the CEO goes like, oh, I was never there. But if she
Well, we
says
can
I
also
was never
delete it,
there,
right?
oh, what's up?
Can't we just delete once we do it? Like delete the access?
Deleting logs is actually a lot harder than it sounds, but I can try.
Cool. So the process would be essentially you log in as the CEO, we authorize the printing of the key card, which you can do because you have that password. No rolls are required there. You then have to roll to have that deleted, which will be essentially just you just going in system administration, removing that piece of data permanently from the system.
Right.
Or you can attempt to do a roll to find out what her role is. Anselma Bergman. You have to then, you can do a sort of a first roll to get the senior engineer's password, have her log in, so at least it's relatively natural, which might provide for less scrutiny should you fail your second roll.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, deleting the log altogether is probably the better way to go about it, because that way there would not be any trace of another keycard existing at all. So
that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
So I would just do CEO, delete, and then GTFO.
Then I'll do that. Just make sure. Roll computers again to delete the...
Roll computers for the deletion of the log.
That's going to be a 25.
You got exactly what you needed.
Excellent.
This is your hardest hacking roll of the episode, and you nailed it entirely.
Nice.
The key card begins to print. You delete the log. You can do that while it's printing.
Mm.
The key card takes 3 minutes to be 3D printed, and for the electronic components to be inserted.
Fair enough.
At this point, over your scope, Alexander, you see that sort of sad and downtrodden, Annalise begins walking towards Q7. She's like doing like the slow walk of sadness from Q4 to Q7.
Stalker is heading to building. You are free to leave when ready.
Roger that.
You do, however, see that the senior engineer is beginning to walk back to the electronics car.
Selma is heading back to electronics car. Apparently, superior eye drops still have not functioned.
Bitch got bowels of cast iron.
Just walk up to her and be like, hey, you dropped this.
I still gotta wait for the other one to print.
No, true.
As she gets closer to the train, you see that she stops. She kind of like just looks down and angry, and she turns around and begins walking back towards the southern building of Q6.
Oh, no.
Can we follow with the internal cameras?
Yeah, you see she does head to the bathroom. It has finally it's only been like 5 minutes since you took it from her, because you
fast acting.
So it's now begun to hit her.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be instantaneous. It'll be too fucking obvious.
Right.
All right, so I assume the card prints.
Within 3 minutes, the card prints. I'm just going to go ahead and do a general. If I roll terribly here, we have an encounter to get through, and I didn't. So yeah, the card prints. You now have 2 cards in your hand.
All right, I put the one that's been printed away in a secure area inside my suit, where only I know the inside pocket. I grabbed the one that I stole from her, and I sprint over to the bathroom.
You run over to Q6.
Mm-hmm. And I basically am standing right outside the bathroom.
Entry to Q6 for you is not permitted. Like the southern building of Q6 is actually like where some of like the senior, like sort of like senior operations for the train and testing take place.
Mm-hmm.
But she's allowed in, but you're not. She went there specifically to talk to the fire control people that were managing the fire drill.
All right, so then I actually go to the platform.
Cool.
I would say if you're not allowed in building, give it to security guard. Say, Selma dropped this on platform.
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm going to the platform. I go back over to Triple Donut. I'm like, what's up, bro? But in German, so
It says,
what's up,
Mr. Schmitz, welcome back. Unfortunately, we just resolved the FCS issue. It looks like a glitch of the system, but I still don't think you're going to be rolling on this train, even less so now.
Jeez. Well, I guess I'll just go to sleep in my office. Or not my office, but you know. The holding pen, so to speak. On a side note, when your fire alarm went off and everyone shuffled off, this was dropped on the platform. And I would hate to see Miss Bergman get in trouble for it, because I believe she was the one that dropped it. It was either her or one of the other senior engineers. I only assume it was her, though.
His eyes go, oh, God, like they fucking pop out of his head.
It's like, I don't know exactly what it does. It just looks important, so I'd rather return it to you, and then you get credit for bringing it to her, because, I mean, you're security. I'm just some low-level driver, dude, so...
He goes, oh, fuck. I have to fill out a report for this. I don't have to fill out a report for this.
How can we not make you fill out a report for it, then?
We would want her to find it, not us.
I see. I could leave it in the door over there, like she forgot the key in the lock.
Because that's probably the most
I didn't see it if you didn't see it.
Because that's probably the most horrible idea I ever heard. Do you know where she dropped it? Where'd she drop it? Put it back where she dropped it.
All right. I'm on it. You didn't see me. I didn't see you. Got it?
Excellent. Wait, where did she drop it?
Basically right on the other side of the platform, like where the staircase is.
Fuck, that's a public place. You don't want someone else to find it. Then I'm going to definitely have to file a report for it.
I can try and stuff it in her pocket if you talk to her. Some, like, magician type shit.
He looks and goes, no, we're not doing that. That's even worse. Then we're both implicated in knowing where it is, and then the moment we have to fill out a report for this thing, you know what? Fuck it. We're already implicated. Yeah, all right, we're going to have to fill out a report. Shit. Because now we're on cameras having it.
Michael, open door, toss key inside.
Ah, I could do that.
She dropped it inside.
I'm like, what if she dropped it inside the car? I could open the door, toss it in, close the door. She's not here. No one knows if she dropped it inside. And it's not a public place, so she will be the only one that can find it.
We're going to have to get the second key card on site in order to retrieve the first key card.
Is there anybody still on the train?
There's no one on the train. But then we're going to have to go into lockdown, try to locate a key card that no one knows where is, but we know where it is. We're finally going to get the key card in the electronics room. Then we have to get the CEO to wake his ass up, get the other key card from his personal vault.
Yeah, let's not do all that then.
That's almost worse.
I mean, I could say she dropped it somewhere that was more secluded. I mean, she doesn't know where she dropped it, right? We know.
You know what? Put it on the edge of the platform by the door.
Okay.
If anyone else goes to pick it up, I've got to file a report. But at this point, it's 50-50.
I like those odds.
All right. Drop it over there.
If it's good.
So I put it down near the door.
He's like, all right, I know where it is. You know where it is. When she comes back, she's in the bathroom a while, actually. If she doesn't see it and someone else picks it up, at least it's not your problem, and I'll file my report with that person. You've done a good thing here today.
Thank you, sir. You know, I've been eating these damn donuts all day. I think I'm about done. I was like, you want any more? They're yours.
You hand him a box full of half-tainted donuts?
Yeah, the non-tainted ones.
Where'd happen to the tainted ones?
They're in the other box.
You don't have 2 boxes of donuts. Get out of here. You have 1 box. Don't offer them the donuts. Get the fuck out of there.
Fair enough.
So you, what are you doing now?
I get the fuck out.
All right. So you are looking to exfil.
Yes, I am.
All right. I would make that a general announcement so other people can prepare to fuck off also.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, well, since I'm probably not driving tonight, I'll be up in the lounge, relaxing. So, in case I don't see you again, you have yourself a good night.
He nods, shakes her hand, says, have a good night, Mr. Schmidt.
I walk away.
When he makes the announcement, I start making my way to the thing.
Cool. You hop on down. You open the door because it is not a security door. You head yourself on down the staircase. You get yourself in position to open up the access to the car. You can't actually open the access point because it opens out, so the car door has to, like, the car hatch has to open so you can open the door. And you begin patiently waiting for Michael.
Yeah, I don't dilly-dally. I make my way over there.
Cool. You basically head over, like, there's a fucking, like, there's a bee up your ass or whatever. As you begin running down the last flight of stairs, or stealthily walking down the last flight
I'm
of stairs.
just walking. I'm not trying to run.
Not you. As Alexander begins walking in the last flight of stairs, you hear that there's actually someone opening up the door below you to go into the telecommunications tower.
So is this a standard stairwell type thing that we're looking at?
Yep, it is just staircase, 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 a large concrete tower, computer terminal at the bottom, nothing of interest until you get to the roof.
Okay, and they're on the bottom floor?
They're on the bottom floor. Actually, I lied. The top floor has, like, another few communications, like computers and shit like that. And then there's a door that leads to the roof. So there's, like, one room at the top, 7 floors of just circular staircase. There's a person at the bottom who has entered the tower.
Have they come in the door yet?
They are in the process of opening the door.
And how far am I from the bottom stairs?
You are one flight of stairs above them.
I jump and then hide underneath the stairs so they can go up without seeing me.
Okay, stealth roll. I will give you a +2 to it. What's your overall stealth? +11. So you rolled essentially a 16. I was going to give you a +2 because you have acrobatics fairly high as well. So you rolled an 18. They walk in. They close the door. They walk over to the terminal. They begin to do their login thing. And in the glare of the terminal, you can actually see their face. Because it's a black screen with, like, white text on it.
Mm-hmm.
Their eyes begin moving towards the exact same place where you're looking at them in the reflection of the monitor. I'm going to force you to use a spy point. Because
I like it.
Because you failed your roll, you have no more hero points. And so essentially, time slows down.
He failed an 18. The fuck's he up against Captain America?
No, they rolled a 15. They had there's pluses to seeing people and things, and there's lighting and shit like that. So he failed because it's a roll. They roll against his stealth, and he rolled a 5, and they rolled a 15. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's all in roll 20.
Gotcha.
You realize that there's essentially, like, just a pipe that's, like, that big, which probably, like, contains things like wiring and God knows what else, and fucking, like, you're in a sealed 8-story tall room. There has to be ventilation for the room and shit like that. Oxygen pumped in. You realize that if you fucking dive to the left and get yourself behind that, you will just barely to fucking not meet their eye as you move further left, and the angle of the screen takes them towards the right corner of the room. Alternatively, you might be able to jump straight up, grab onto the bottom of the metal stairs, and fucking tuck yourself in like a ball upside down on some fucking Ethan Hunt Mission Impossible shit, and their reflection in that glass will not see you. If you dive left, it's a stealth roll. If you jump up, it's an acrobatics roll.
We're going to take the stealth roll because I am much better at that. That's going to be a 22.
Good. They're like, "Did it?" He looks back. They thought they saw something. Look at the staircase. They see fuck all. They log in. They head upstairs.
He's very lucky. This was going to end with him getting shot.
I'm assuming tranked.
Yeah. I didn't bring any lethal weapons.
Right.
Except for my fists.
You hear the clanging of them heading upstairs.
I wait until they're on the 3rd or 4th floor and then walk out.
Michael, you get to where you're supposed to park.
Mm.
You're seated there and ready. You open up the hatch. and there's just like nothing for like 15 seconds.
I'm like, yeah, I'll be here when he gets here.
Motherfucker doesn't even radio in to see if you're all right. 15 seconds later, you hear the clanking of like someone coming up the ladder stealthily. I'm assuming you hop in the back of the car.
Yep.
Sweet. And you drive on off to the exit. At this point in time, Waylon, I'm assuming you begin packing up shop, collecting your orange cones, turning off the exterior light, that kind of a thing.
Basically, also cleaning up any logs that I haven't cleaned up yet. You know, the sequel injection, all that stuff. I'm
Cool.
thorough.
Removing evidence of himself from the system.
Sweet.
Yes.
As you are finishing the process of removing evidence, you see there is identical truck to your own that begins pulling up behind you.
I'm gonna. Am I done cleaning up evidence of
Done. You're good. You're literally like, close the laptop. Life is good. Look out your rear window on the fucking truck. You see there's another truck similar to yours pulling up.
I'm gonna book it, like straight up.
Like you fucking slam on the gas and drive away, or?
Yeah, like if everything's picked up, I'm just gonna go.
But are you speeding away, or are you just fly casual?
I'm casually driving away.
Okay. You drive on out, and you just continue along your merry way. Bro, you get to the gate.
Yep.
Leave. And the guard goes, "Whoa, hold a minute. No test today?"
I mean, between the fire alarm and the fact that they're still getting all the bugs out of their system, they don't seem to think there's going to be anything going on tonight. So they said I could either hang out and get paid or go home early and take the pay cut for the night. And I'm going to be honest with you, sleeping on that couch one more night is just not going to cut it for me, so I'm going home.
He nods. Yeah, I hear that. Plus, they're probably going to call you up in 6 hours and see if you're available. So if you'd have went home and had to make the turnaround anyway.
Exactly.
All right. Have a good night, Bruno.
Take it easy.
All right. You drive off. The van drives off. You guys both essentially are supposed to head back to the local airport to hop a Nebula to fucking Shanghai. And congratulations, you guys got the Quentin Tyler seal of approval.
When we meet up, I give Waylon the key code. I'm like, you're the tech guy. You're probably better on all of this.
All right.
It's like, I have
The one
probably
that has
more
to go into
places to
that.
hide it, but you have better ways to keep it secure, so.
I'm the one that has to use it, so.
Exactly.
And yeah, you folks will debrief on your flight over to Shanghai. But given that we are at 5:12, this is an excellent time to do channel announcements.
All right. So, channel announcements. Wow, I'm sleepy.
Start with the 3B radio swimsuit calendar. What is that in development? Is it getting started?
So I told my wife about the joke, and she's like, "Sounds like a good idea. It's a good thing." And Kat is like, "I'm in, but as long as I get October." So I'll leave that up to you guys how in development that means it is. So 3B the swimsuit calendar is not a part of the current merch, but there is a ton of cool stuff. I don't know if you guys got the chance to look over it while we were playing. As always, there is our Patreon, which gives you exclusive access to our Discord, as well as some exclusive merch which is not on the merch store. Stickers, a different mug, things of that nature. What else? Monday night, we will see Land of Ice and Snow return. I don't believe anybody has any issues, finally. Tuesday, we should see Unfortunate Sons. Does anybody have any issues there?
Doesn't look like.
All right. Or are we moving it to Thursdays finally, officially?
Well, I think Frag said she could have done last Thursday, but that was it.
Oh, right. Frag is dealing with Hallow Scream, I believe.
Tuesdays should be fine.
All right, Tuesday should be fine. For those of you out there who play Conqueror's Blade, we are the household for Conqueror's Blade based on the Unfortunate Sons is up and running and is kicking major ass. You can, if you are a subscriber, a follower, or a Patreon supporter, you can shoot us a message and get an invite into the guild. And I think that's it for right now. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, your support means everything.
Good night, Gracie.
I accidentally clicked away. That was my bad. Tom, do you have anything you want to say?
I mean, like, you're just gonna like pick up and go. I mean, I want game feedback and probably bullshit for a few minutes, but I'm good otherwise.
Well, no. I haven't. Yeah.
Oh, we're still online.
Yeah.
Good night, Gracie.